every way. Talking fast, not a pause in sight. Leanie's got my head in a spin tonight. Oh, shut up, Leanie, can't you see? You talk so much, it's drowning me. With your white hair and sassy flair, just give me a breath, let me share. Podcast queen with a wicked smile, running jokes mile after mile. Try to speak, but in she slides. Leanie makes it a wild ride. Poetry with a wicked smile, running jokes mile after mile. Try to speak, but in she slides. Leanie makes it a wild ride. Oh, shut up, Leanie, can't you see? You talk so much, it's drowning me. With your white hair and sassy flair, just give me a breath, let me share. Oh, Leanie, don't get me wrong, can't imagine life without your song. But girl, you've gotta let me in. This ain't just your show to win. So here I stand with my mic in hand, trying to keep this show as planned. Leanie laughs, guess it's gonna stay a little secret every day. Trying to keep this show as planned. Leanie laughs, guess it's gonna stay a little secret every day. Oh, shut up, Leanie, can't you see? You talk so much, it's drowning me. With your white hair and sassy flair, just give me a breath, let me share. Let me share.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it so much. MJD's in the house. Sherman's Garden, good to see you. Mama's here. Good to see you, Miss Barbara. Y'all, I'm so sorry about last night. God, what a catastrophe that was. Oh, I do not want to have to relive that night over ever. There's just some days, you guys, where it is like, nope, I'm good. I don't ever have to go back to that day again. But everything came out in the wash, literally. And I only ruined 2 floorboards, only 2, so that I worked. But those can be fixed. So I'm just not going to fret over it anymore. Lesson learned. Hi, Darlene. I did get it all cleaned up, girlfriend. I did. And it was terrible, y'all. It was so terrible. I just could not figure where all that water was coming from. I knew the water was shut off. I'd already wiped down the cabinet. I kept throwing the freaking sheets on the floor. The water just kept pouring. And then I was like, oh, no. And I opened up the cabinet. Water just came gushing out of the cabinet. And I was like, oh, no. And I opened up the drawer. And my drawers are custom made. And they're really deep. And Beefcake's wallet was in there too, y'all. That's the only thing I felt really, really bad about. Hi, Dawn. I've missed you too, Love Bug. Hi, Aussie True Crime. Are the floors better now? Hi, Anomaly. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we're good. I did warp 2 floorboards, but Beefcake said it'd be fine. He's got some extras in the garage. He said he could fix it, So thank God for that. And nothing was ruined out of his wallet. I took everything out and laid it out so it would all just dry out. And then by the time I got out of bed, he was just most of his stuff had already dried out and all that. So it's good. It's fine. It's fine. It just I can believe I did that. I can, because like Miss Emily, my mama used to say, y'all, I am blundering through life and things happen all around me. I mean, what can I do? I've been there with floors and water. Oh, goodness. Well, it came out in the wash. Everything's good. My floors are good and clean now. And for any of you that have been around here for any length of time, my number one bane in life, the thing that I fight with the most in life is my floors and keeping them clean with 3 dogs. Anyways, now I was gonna just redo, like, because I already had things like planned for last night and all that, and then I started researching today, and there was some stuff I didn't know about, and I don't know if you guys know about it because Brian Enton just found out about it today. Y'all, today. So, oh, I was like, no, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. Um, I couldn't freaking believe it when I heard it, and he couldn't believe it either. We just can't believe it, and y'all aren't going to be able to believe it either. Dawn says, had an issue with our dishwasher and flooded the kitchen. Thank God, Dawn, that I didn't. I didn't. Usually, I make my coffee. I set it over here with my water and stuff like that, so I don't have to leave this too many times, but go pee once and maybe smoke once. But I started my coffee late, so I was like, let me go check my coffee and get it real quick. And I walked in the kitchen and something felt, you know how something feels like off? And I was like, what? And I turned around and looked and water everywhere. It was terrible, but it came out. All right, so we got to talk about this. Let's just jump right into it. How about that? Lolly, did I say hi to you? See you guys? My mom always said, you're blundering through life. And it's because so much goes on in my brain, you guys. I have so much to tell you, so much to get out. And I feel like I'm going to miss something. And then sometimes I do miss something. And when I get off here, I'm like, damn, I should just go live again because, oh, we got to talk about it. Miss Barbie, you can't be going watching Brian Ent without me. What are you doing over there, Mama? I'm just kidding, Miss. I'm just kidding, Miss. All right. So there were two things that I found out tonight. One, that there was a neighbor around the corner. I'm just going to give you a synopsis real quick, and then we're going to watch it. There was a neighbor around the corner whose sister actually lives on Nancy Street, and come to find out in the early days, like day 2, 3, or 4, the FBI went over to her house, asked to search her house, went inside, looked in the garage, blah, 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 right? And then something happened. I didn't get the full story because I was like, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to listen to it with you guys because that's when I want to hear it. And something happened. Anyways, they got in touch with the police and they were like, well, the FBI was already here. And they were like, what? There was no FBI here. Like and so they started this huge investigation, you guys. They started this huge investigation and they told these poor people that those were people who were acting like the cops. So they went in and took the people in the house's DNA. They swabbed their house everywhere, you guys, for fingerprints, all this other stuff, took all this stuff back to the lab, right? Only to come back and tell them, I don't know how long, because like I said, I wanted to watch it with you guys. I don't know how long, but they came back and told them, oh no, that was the FBI. We just didn't know they were out here. Well, what the hell? What the hell is going on? What is going on? What the hell is going on? Who's in charge here? Who is in charge? And I didn't just wake up to pee. Yay, Lolly. Anomaly says, hear about the barrel found in the lake. It's said that it may be Nancy Guthrie, possibly. I did see that earlier today, y'all. I did see that earlier today. And I saw it on Facebook, on the Facebook group for Nancy. And they were, the last time I saw anything on it, they were waiting on the police to come out there. They had taken pictures, coordinates, all that, give it to the police. That's all I know about that so far, but we'll get into it too. I'm telling you, Dawn, come to find out it was lack of communication between the FBI and the Pima County Police. Well, after we listen to Brian talk about it, Dawn, you're not supposed to listen to that stuff without me either, girl. So disappointed in you and Mama. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna find out and then make a judgment on who didn't get the memo. No, don't be sorry. I'm just playing with you. Here's the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about. And I know there's different stuff we could talk about, like how they believe that guy had what do you call it? The scrambler thing that scrambles the Wi-Fi and stuff like that, right? And then come to find out the neighbor next door, her scrambled the same time that supposedly Nancy was going missing, and then come to find out that the breaker box, the real big electrical Wi-Fi internet box down the end of the road, that was broke into and damaged. I don't know if you guys heard all that, but I'm telling you, it's nuts what's going on in this case. It's nuts what's coming out of this case. I am just like, no wonder we're here. No wonder. It took, how many days did they tell us? All of our Aussie friends tell us the same thing happened over in Australia, like 3 days after this happened with Nancy Guthrie, except for theirs was an elderly man and his was a case of mistaken identity. Y'all, they had him in 10 days. We can't find this dude because they have screwed this case up. So my mind is just like, JLR had got some strange guys still talking to him all crazy. Think he was on something or drunk. Is it the same guy that came down last time that was calling out that one dude's name that happens to be a lawyer? I'm going to tell, he needs to be careful doing that shit because somebody come and take him out. I mean, Nancy's still missing, right? All right, let's just get to this. Let's get right into it. Let's get into Brian, because other than Dawn and Miss Barbara, I think the rest of us don't know what's happening yet with the neighbors. So let's look into that first. Let's listen to that together. You guys know that I have to stop in the middle of things every now and then just to, hold on just a minute. Let me make sure I get the right one. Yes. Just to commentate so my channel doesn't get taken down or I don't get a strike. And so I'll be doing that, but I'll try to make it really, really, really brief. And we'll just go from there. Okay. Watch your ears because I can't control your volume. Let me put our fair use disclaimer in. Copyright Act of 1976 gives allowance for this content to be used for the purposes of criticism. I do a lot of that. Comment, yep. News reporting, sometimes teaching. I don't think so. Scholarship, I ain't got no money to give. And research, yeah, that's what we do here. That's what we do all day here. All right. Here we go, guys. Watch your ears. I'm going to go ahead and just start playing. Let's just get right into Brian here. Let me make this as big as I can. Full screen. There we go. Make sure y'all could see that there. All right. Awesome. All right, guys. Watch your ears. Here we go.
All of your support and for subscribing to the channel. It is now day 37 in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Can't believe it's now been 37 days. A really interesting episode today. One of the neighbors out here who I've gotten to know, who's actually the neighbor who lets us park in her driveway ever since there were those restrictions about parking, has a few really interesting stories to tell in relation to everything going on. First of all, she's lived in this neighborhood for decades. She's known Nancy for decades, but she also saw something very interesting around the time of January 11th, which is a date that keeps on coming up. We know that the FBI has been asking neighbors for video from around January 11th. And she saw something that she found to be very, very suspicious near Nancy's house, which she's going to describe in this episode. Also, something I had not heard about before until today, which is really shocking. Her sister also lives in this neighborhood, just a couple of blocks away, and says that the FBI showed up to her house a couple of days after Nancy went missing, wanted to come inside, wanted to look in her garage, look around the house, then left. She thought that something was suspicious about it, like just one of the so-called agents just didn't look quite right. So she called authorities. Come to find out, the sheriff's department and more FBI come to her house, and they're like, that actually was not the FBI. Those were like fake law enforcement people. And they do this whole investigation. They start fingerprinting in her house. This is all right in this neighborhood. I can't believe I haven't heard about this today. So they're fingerprinting in her house. They take her DNA for whatever reason. And they basically like just start.
Nope.
Making her whole house into a crime scene, trying to figure this out. Then hours later, they say, oh, wait, we checked, and those actually were real
Mm.
FBI. We were wrong. They weren't fake FBI. They were real FBI. We just weren't aware they were here. But the point is, apparently things were very, very disorganized early on between the locals and the FBI, which is something we were reporting on. But that story, you're going to hear her describe that story and really explain that whole story in this episode. But just kind of wanted to give you a preview because this is the first that I'm hearing about that. So I'm going to get into all of it in this episode of Brian Enton Investigates. So I'm joined by L.
I want to stop right there real quick, and then we're just going to let him play through this. First, is Brian not walking like he's got to pee really, really bad? Listen, I know the pee walk and the pee dance and the pee run. It, to me, looks like Brian had to pee really bad, and you can't even see his bottom waist, but all I could see is one leg going over the other, trying to squish it all in there and keep it all in there. There's that. And then there was something else I was going to say, and damn it, I forgot it. It's what happens. All right, let's just keep going with this. Thank you guys so much for being here. Will you do me a favor? Just hit the thumbs up. That's all I ever ask of anybody on this channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Jump down here into chat. Tell us what you think. We'll be happy to hear from you. Get in here. We're a great group of people, if I do say so myself.
Who is one of Nancy's neighbors, and this is Maple, her dog. Yep. And first of all, I just wanted to thank you for letting us park in your driveway when we got moved out. That was very nice of you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What has it been like the last, I guess, 30 plus days?
It's been crazy and sad and, kind of scary for a lot of the people that live around here because, normally this is a quiet, sleepy neighborhood. So we don't have a lot of people here or incidences of anything.
So you knew Nancy?
Yes. So I'd met Nancy numerous times in the neighborhood from just being here. And I also went to high school with her kids. And so a very good friend of mine, super close with Nancy, and we used to walk in the neighborhood, and she would be at parties and things like that. So yes.
She seems like a wonderful woman.
Lovely lady. Yeah. Terribly lovely lady. Yeah.
Did people know that she was Savannah's mom?
I don't know. It was never really talked about. She was just Nancy. So nobody around here really thought anything of it, or at least we never discussed it.
Did you know?
Oh yeah. No, I've known that for I've known that for a long time. I knew that Nancy lived there. Yeah.
But people on the outside didn't seem to know, really.
Not anybody that I ever talked to about it. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Did you know Savannah at all?
I did a bit in high school, but not super well since, high school, because I'm considerably older than, well, not considerably, but I'm about 3 or 4 years older than Savannah. I knew her brother better.
Was there anything strange in the neighborhood you noticed, like before this happened?
I did. About 2 weeks before, it was there. I have a picture window in my bathroom, and I see all the people walking by in the mornings, and I noticed this strange guy with his hat down really low. He was kind of hunched over, not in, walking or hiking gear. He was dressed in kind of street clothing. So I thought that was weird because that's not normal.
And it stood out to you?
Oh, yeah. I said something to my husband and my mother. So, yeah.
And how often has something like that happened where it stood out to you enough to say something?
Not often at all. I see the same people. They're people I know, my friends. Yeah. So, no. I think once, maybe 12 years ago, I saw a strange guy.
Did you tell the police?
I did. I told the FBI the day after they came here, and I discussed that with them. So this is my window that I'm getting ready in the morning, and I saw him out there. So I couldn't make out his face, although his hat was way down. And I think I can open up this one too. Okay. See, since we have all this stuff going on, and we have to have it all fixed. So this one is usually open as well. So you've got a pretty good view.
So Nancy's is up that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you've got a pretty good view, and he was walking down the road, and I always see people and I think, oh, that's my friend Nora, or that's this person or that person. And I saw him and I was like, oh, that guy doesn't fit. So.
And this was sometime around January 11th.
Yes. So my birthday is January 8th. That's why I remember so well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And describe him again.
Well, he was in kind of street clothes, not shoes that you'd walk in. And he had a baseball hat really low and he was kind of hunched over and he was kind of looking around and he just didn't fit. And he wasn't going terribly quickly like a normal person that's getting exercise. He was kind of going slowly. And when he walked by this street, he really took a long look at it. I noticed that.
And it was enough for you to remember to tell your husband. Yeah.
Yeah. It freaked me out. And I'm not one of those people to be super freaked out by that. But I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like when the FBI came?
You know, they were young and just listening and asking a couple of questions and wanted to know if our Ring camera worked. And it didn't at that time, unfortunately. I don't know if it would have gotten any of the road because our house is so set back. So I don't know if we would have been much help, but just questions like that.
It's interesting, like no one's Ring cameras work in this neighborhood, it seems like.
Well, it's such a safe neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like half the time we used to not lock our doors. We do now. Now we have cameras and things like that. But no, yeah, I've never even had a package stolen ever in 23 years. So
it really is one of those, because I heard some people say, oh yeah, it's like one of those places you wouldn't lock your doors, but you really didn't.
Yeah, we really didn't. Yeah, we really didn't. I mean, I had 3 teenagers wandering around here and yeah, I'd come home and the back door would be wide open. I'm like, who's that? So yeah, never a problem, ever.
Maple's getting kind of anxious here.
Yeah.
Maple, she's so fun. Do you have any, you always walk her, so we all know her. Do you have any are people, do they feel like this is an inside job, or because there's a sense from some that this is someone maybe even like in the neighborhood?
There's actually at a dinner last night, there was a discussion about it. People that live in this neighborhood, and we're all just throwing things around. Like some people are like, it's for sure a Savannah connection. Some people are like, that guy in the video seemed so lackadaisical that maybe it's a robbery gone bad. I mean, yeah, I have my theories, but they change because then when you start thinking about stuff, you're like, So I hope we find her and find out.
Are you surprised it's taken this long?
No, because I think someone brought to my attention that a lot of these cases take 30 plus days.
Yep.
So yeah, so I'm not surprised. I was not here the night she was taken, but I arrived home the next morning. And then when we found out she was missing, we all went out looking for her. So I thought we would find her, honestly.
Like it was just some kind of not that serious of a situation.
No,
Yeah.
like she had fallen or just something. Yeah.
Were you just out of town that weekend, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in Phoenix. I got home on Sunday morning from my daughter Harper lives in Phoenix.
Okay.
So, yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Probably not.
That must have been like, what were you thinking when you heard about this?
I was shocked. My elderly mother lives a street away. So I was like, oh my gosh, like this is terrifying, and poor Nancy. And yeah, so we just all kind of went out on foot. We all went driving around. I asked the sheriff a few questions and he's like, yep, we already did that. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Your mom lives close?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my sister.
Okay. Are you, I just keep thinking about my mom throughout this whole thing. Like, I think a lot of people are connecting to it because a lot of people have older parents,
Yeah.
and you just kind of worry.
Sorry.
Maple, come here, Maple. Come on, Maple. Maple, come on.
Come up.
I think a lot of people
That was hilarious.
think about their parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of
And you,
course.
Nancy was 84, and some people are like, oh, why would an 84-year-old woman be living alone? But
Oh, my mom's 87 and lives alone.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to stay in your own home and live your life out. And I mean, I was surprised she didn't have an alarm, but again, I'm kind of not too, right? So I don't know.
do most people have alarms?
I don't know. We do, but I believe so. I mean, the people kind of my age or younger, I believe they do. Yes.
And so how many, did the FBI just come here once?
No, they came quite a few times. Yes. Oh, sorry.
No, it's
guys.
okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, what's Matt doing?
And what were there different questions?
When they spoke to me, they spoke to Matt a few times too. There was definitely different questions. And then we have friends that kind of live in the back of us. So they would be at our house and then go to the friend's house and say, hey, do you know those people? Are they nice? Do you trust them? And they were like, yeah,
Yeah.
they're nice people. So yeah, it was interesting. But the questions were pretty normal. They did ask me about January 11th.
Yeah.
And that was about the time I saw the strange guy. So that all kind of connected with me.
What was the date? Do you know the date you saw the strange guy?
You know, it was around the 10th, 11th, or 12th for sure. Yes.
That's so interesting that it was that same time.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't really know the significance of January 11th besides they keep asking a lot of the neighbors about it. I wonder if that first surveillance photo, remember there's the two photos, that one might be from January 11th.
It could have been, yeah. I mean, that's probably why it's so significant. Yeah.
Did they say anything about January 11th? Like why they were asking you about that?
No, they didn't. I tried to get information out of them. But they wouldn't give me any.
Was there anything else they asked you that was like kind of stood out to you?
A new season is always an excuse for me to go shopping, so I got some new shoes from Vivaya. It's so important to have.
You know, no. No, I was kind of more giving them information about the neighborhood because there's an abandoned house at the end of the street and somebody had just moved out next to us. And I thought that was kind of weird because they had lived there a long time as well. So I think I probably spoke more than I should have.
No. Are there like, I mean, I don't want to judge anybody, but are there people in the neighborhood that you've been like concerned about in the past or?
Well, not really. I mean, I kind of know the walkers and definitely around the holidays, you'll see the people that who are winter visitors and things like that. So no, nobody that I've ever run into that I thought was odd. No,
No one like really creepy or anything.
I don't know. No,
Not really. No.
I don't know if I want to say.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No. It's okay. It's
because
okay.
I don't want them to like.
Yeah.
freak
Well,
out.
and you don't have to give the name. I just didn't know if.
Do I think there's a lot of weird people
Yeah.
that live in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
have people been telling the FBI about that? You think, like, kind of telling them who they think?
Yes, I think so. Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially my neighbor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your neighbor has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that stood out to them, or
Yeah, because he walks his little dogs every day and was telling me actually yesterday about all the different things that he noticed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because again, I just go back, and I don't have any evidence of this, but like so many of the former FBI agents I've spoken to have just said, a lot of times it's someone close.
So scary. Yeah. Yeah. Right. You just never know. I don't know. I was hearing about phone towers being pinged and things like that. And, you know, because in the Kohlberger case, that was a definite thing that was a thing, right? Like there was a time frame. I don't know. I hope it's not anybody in our neighborhood. That would be scary. It might be, you know, somebody that maybe visits a neighborhood a lot. I don't know. It's really sad and really scary because my kids used to ride their bikes around by themselves and walk down to the neighbors' houses and things like that. So
your kids, did they grow up in this house?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So what do they think about all this?
Well, my son was telling me, he's like, oh, I know that because they used to just play out in the desert. It was kind of like the 70s where the kids would just disperse and be gone half the day and come home to eat. So he knows that wash very well that runs parallel to Minna Vista. It's a big canyon down there. Behind Nancy's they would play. I mean, so he said I could help find her.
Because there's kind of an open area behind Nancy's, I noticed. So I was looking in one of the neighbors' backyards he was showing me, and it's like open desert back there.
Yeah, open desert.
Just kind of in between the houses, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a lot that someone just didn't build on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which has made me wonder, I mean, someone could come through the back, probably.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's probably how they got in. Yeah.
And when you talk about the washes, I'm from Florida. So like, what are those?
So they're where the water runs. Like you just witnessed a storm. Sorry, Maple. Sorry.
Okay.
So you just witnessed a storm. And so that goes on in July, like for an hour, and it floods these river beds that we call washes. And some of them are huge and you'd never know they were there. So there's definite ways to navigate the Catalina foothills through washes.
And a wash is it like a trench?
It's like a big trench.
Okay.
Right. Where the water's it's kind of like a river. So they are rivers. They're really dangerous actually in July, when the monsoons come and they run. Like you aren't supposed to drive. Some of them go over the road. You're not supposed to drive through it, things like that. So
Is that you said there's one near here?
There's actually two, yeah, big ones that definitely I saw the searchers in there and I'm like, good, I'm glad they're down in there because that would be a place you could, hide.
So, and you could use those to get in and out of the neighborhood?
Oh yeah, they all connect.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that because I went in a tunnel close by? Is that kind of the
I
same
saw that.
system, sort of?
Yeah, it all runs down to the Rito River, which runs parallel to River Road.
Okay.
That big one where you cross the bridge to go get into the city from Campbell Avenue. You'll go by over a big bridge. They all rush down into there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, because like I said, I've always wondered. I mean, there's so many people are focused on the road and the cameras facing the road, but what if it was?
Well,
Because you could probably get around here through the back ways.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I moved here in high school. I know that well.
Do you?
Yes.
You would sneak around?
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course. We all did. And we used to ride horses. My girlfriends all had horses and we used to ride horses up and down Campbell and through the washes and they'd come pick me up and we'd go on our way. Yeah. So
you're from Canada.
I'm from
but
Toronto.
You've lived in Tucson for
Yep,
how long?
since 1981.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
in this neighborhood
more
since
than-
1981.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So that's more than 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just know that because I was born in 85 and I'm 40. So not to, sorry.
I
Yeah.
know, it's okay. I'm like, oh,
You know.
that's painful.
But
I'm sorry.
has this area changed a lot? Like, 'cause
No, it hasn't changed at all. Like, other than people kind of updating their houses or building a few. My girlfriend's the one building the house on Escalante at the top. So, no, it hasn't changed at all. I mean, Tucson has, of course, but not the Catalina foothills, not really.
Yeah, I was talking to someone at my hotel last night from Tucson, and she was telling me that like actual Tucson, like downtown and that area has changed a lot.
For sure.
Like
Yeah.
there's a lot more crime, and she said.
Yeah, Tucson's changed. Yeah, but up here, no, until now. Yeah.
So I guess that's why people live up here, to be away from all of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've lived up here since then. I mean, after college, I moved to California, then I came back, but still wasn't a long time there.
Have there been any burglaries or anything like that you?
I do know of one, and it was a house that just continually got hit, and it's right on Campbell. And they got robbed, but I think that was about 5 years ago. So it's nothing. I mean, we'd all know because we all kind of know each other. I have friends, 2 streets over, and they would text me or call me and say this happened or that happened, but nothing major. No.
Are you freaked out?
10 things you should know before buying the viral Halo extensions. Do not buy until you watch this video. 1, it's the only.
Not really.
You don't seem like you have that personality.
No,
really.
I'm just not. I'm kind of more like whatever. Yeah, like we'll figure it out. You gotta figure things out.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not freaked out. Although my husband put up cameras and things like that, but no.
It is weird to happen right next to you, basically down the street.
I know. And it's funny. Matt, my son, is a golfer at Ole Miss. So for high school, they were gone a lot doing tournaments. So I was here alone a lot, and I did put the alarm on, but I didn't terrify me. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Nancy like? I know you said a little bit, but
she was a super sweet, kind woman, a heart of gold and just really sweet from what I remember of her. I hadn't seen her in quite a few years, but I mean, other than in her driveway, walking my dog or on her porch or something. But what I remember of the times I did meet her, she was a really kind lady. Yeah.
it's so sad.
Sad. I know, it's devastating.
I hope there'll be like a miracle, but it seems like more and more, it's just hard to imagine she's going to walk back a lot. You know what I mean? But at the same time,
that's what I was hoping for the next day. That's why we all went out and looked for her. We were hoping for a miracle.
Yeah.
And now we're really hoping for a miracle. But
have you been, like, what are your thoughts on law enforcement? Because obviously the sheriff has been under a lot of scrutiny.
He's a very controversial character.
Yeah.
I have my opinions about that. I just don't think it was handled properly, but I'm also not a law enforcement person, so I try not to be too critical.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
It seems like the FBI and the locals are working better together now, though.
I hope so.
And even when they've come back through the neighborhood, it just seems more organized now.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah.
When's the last time they came here? Was it?
Probably, oh my gosh, it's been 30 days, probably 2 weeks. They haven't been
Okay.
back in 2 weeks. I was actually, I received an email and I was expecting them to come back and talk to us, but they haven't.
They emailed you?
No, sorry.
No.
Somebody sent an email from the Catalina Foothills Association.
Okay.
So we have an HOA.
Okay.
And it's not a very active one. I think we pay $50 a year.
Yeah.
But they did email us and tell us, like, it's okay, let everybody in. They did go to my sister's house.
Did they?
Yeah.
And she said she lives right near here too.
She lives right up the street. They went to my sister's house on the second Friday night after Nancy went missing at like 7:30 at night. It was raining with hoodies on, black hoodies, and we're tapping on her windows and frantically ringing her doorbell, and she answered it. I don't remember if they asked to come in or if she just offered for them to come in. It was raining and it was cold. And so they went in. I think the male did not take his hoodie off. The female did. They wanted to know if she had a pacemaker and they wanted to look into her garage. And so she was like, okay. I mean, she was alone and was like, sure, of course, you're the FBI. Apparently on her hoodie was just a little FBI emblem up here. Well, then they left. And
so they were in her house.
They were in her house for like 20 minutes and talking to her, and she was asking questions and they were kind of vague, and the guy didn't really speak and he kind of creeped her out. So they left, and my niece called and said, are you sure they were the FBI? Because we all had discussed about copycat crimes, people posing as police officers, things like that. So she called the 1-800-FBI number and it was busy, or said they were busy. So she called 911, and within 15 minutes, 10 minutes, there were 7 police cars, 4 FBI agents, said it wasn't the FBI. She was terrified. They swabbed her, fingerprinted the entire house.
So they swabbed her mouth.
They swabbed her mouth.
For DNA, wow.
Yeah. And then were there till the middle of the night and then just left, and she was terrified. So the next day at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, she got a call from the large group of FBI agents that were there and said, oh yeah, by the way, that woman was an FBI agent. We don't really know who the guy was, but she was, so you're fine. And she was like, no, I'm not fine. I'd like to know exactly what's her name. Tell me more about it. They were in my home. And it's
so why would they have swabbed her and done fingerprints in the whole house?
Because I think in the beginning, the two entities weren't talking to each other properly. I think the FBI and the sheriff's department were not communicating. So eventually she figured out it was an FBI agent, but the sheriff's department didn't think it was in the beginning. So that's why they went there and swabbed my sister. And yeah,
wow.
So that was like a huge red flag.
That it was just disorganized, the whole.
Totally. Right? Wouldn't you think that? And then he was rather dismissive to my sister the next day and said, don't worry about it. She's like, but I have questions. And he was like, I'm not at liberty to answer them. So.
And they were there for how long again?
They were there for probably 3-4 hours, I believe.
Like processing her house, basically.
Yeah.
For finger.
Yeah.
So they thought it was like a fake.
They thought it was a fake FBI invasion, somebody that was casing her. Yeah. So she was terrified. Yeah.
Did she come over here?
She went to her daughter's house. She called me the next day because she knew wouldn't answer my door.
Yeah.
But, she was like, I didn't think you'd come to your door. So she went to my niece's house because she was terrified.
That is, wow.
Yeah,
I mean, I heard they were disorganized in the beginning, but that's really.
Yeah, I think she spent 4 nights with my niece and then had cameras installed and lights installed and things like that. Yeah. So I know.
That's a really crazy story.
It's really sad. I mean, it terrified her.
Yeah.
She was terrified. And she's one of those scaredy cat women that was then really terrified. So I felt terrible for her.
Have you heard anything else from any of the other neighbors? Anything that's happened?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we've all talked and, compared notes. And I heard the gentleman across the street, their dog woke up in the night. He also told me that their internet went out.
Yep.
And we were going to call to find out about our internet as well. But we haven't yet, which we should, but that's about it. And then the neighbors next on the other side of me moved out. Like I said, I wanted them to check that house because
it's just been empty.
Yeah. So, but other than that, no one else is really talking about it.
And this is just on a different note, but it's interesting when I came in and we were chatting, you were saying this house actually has had something happen before.
Yes, it did. So in 1985, 86, there was a big Tucson case. It was called the Primetime Rapist. And he would unfortunately assault women at primetime TV hours, thus his name. And one of the women that were assaulted was in this house, which I said to my husband, how weird that it's on the same, juncture that Nancy, or street that Nancy lives on. And
Women over 40, you need this in your makeup bag. The Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara will seriously change your makeup.
So that happened in your house?
Yeah, it did happen in my house. And I didn't even know that when I bought this house. My mother had to tell me. She's like, you bought one of the primetime rapist houses.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, super. But yeah, crazy.
Wow, what a weird, and like seeing that here and then
this happens, right? And again, the FBI, CNN, I remember CNN being in Tucson and the FBI being here, and they could not catch the guy. He eventually was caught. So yeah, but that kind of just clicked to me about the disorganization of law enforcement, because that happened in that case as well.
Do you think this will be solved, Nancy's case?
I hope so. Don't you?
Yeah, I think it will.
I do too.
I think it might just take a little while.
Yeah, I think it's just I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy that a person can disappear from a sleepy little neighborhood in the foothills of Tucson, Arizona.
Really appreciate Aldine for taking the time to talk with me.
Y'all, give me the 411. What do you guys think? I've got all things written down. I got tons of stuff written down. Hello, Julio. Good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. First of all, what I want to say is, first I just want to shake these people, right? I want to shake them. First she says, and I understand, she's doing a live interview. That's got to be like, I'd be a basket case. I've done one or two in my life. And so I get it, but she's like, oh yeah. In the beginning, she's like, yeah, we just had dinner last night. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's got theories. It's all changing, blah, blah, blah. And then just now she's like, well, that's about it. Nobody's really talking. And then she said that yesterday, her neighbor, the one that she's real close to, told her of all different stuff that has happened around this case that he knew about, like his dog waking up at a certain time that night and different things like that. And then when she said he found out he didn't have internet either, and she said, oh, we were going to call the internet. We really should. We haven't yet. Y'all, what the hell is wrong with people over there? Can we talk about that? Wild Angel, hello. I'm sorry you're sick, honey. What is okay? So they're talking about law enforcement, right? And we're backing them up on that law enforcement stuff, right? I think we're all on the same page. Like, I mean, we need someone. Listen, I'm going to get my posse together and we're just going to go solve this because, and I don't even have to be in charge, but if nobody else steps up, I will be in charge because I'm a lead follower, get out of the way kind of girl. Okay. But this is wild to me. We're talking about the police and how they aren't communicating well and blah, blah, blah. And they're absolutely right about that. But yet she hasn't even checked her own internet to see if her own internet was interrupted that night as well. Can someone help me with this? I mean, Maple, we do need your help. We do. Animals just know when something's off. Agree 100%. Hi, G. Morrison. This investigation has been botched 100%. And y'all, the more I listen, I'm thinking the people in this town are just as fucking crazy. I mean, y'all, they voted the sheriff back into office. What does that tell you? Nobody's working, with a full Happy Meal. Someone didn't get a toy. The elevator is not going all the way up to the top. They're cooking in a pan without any grease, y'all. I'm telling you right now. You can't sit and bitch about someone you put into office and then tell me you should have called the internet to see if your internet was also blocked. But you didn't, and you should. But now we got a camera up, so we got a camera up. No, none of this makes any fucking sense. Anybody got anything? And she saw a guy walking and said a 0. If it was that, good point, Anonymous. I'm just going to call you Lee because I cannot pronounce that word. If it was that disturbing, like she was saying that guy didn't fit it, I even told my husband, I told my mom, I told my sister, like something was off. Wouldn't you have written that down at least? Like I've got a calendar on my refrigerator, and my brain is screwed up if it's not up there because I have to write everything down. And I think if I didn't want to call the police about it, like, hey, maybe you might want to come and check this out, then at least I would have probably wrote it somewhere. If it was that disturbing to me that I would have mentioned it to my husband, my mom, my sister, and God knows whoever else, I think I would have done some kind of reaction. Julio says, but the police need to be promoting, directing, and supporting people to look at things. That's right. Wild Angel, if she thought it was so suspicious that he was out there, why wouldn't she have called the police to check it out? Good question. Dawn says, I think it was a woman. She walked right up to Nancy's door after no trespassing signs were up. She was taking pics. Yeah, I saw that on JLR. That was freaking crazy, and good for him for following her and trying to get her to talk and getting great pictures of her. Miss Barbara says, hello. Let's make some exceptions to the people in this town statement. All except for my mama, Miss Barbara Smith, who lives about 20 minutes from here, you guys. She used to pass this area to go to work every day. So we do have our own boots on the ground there. That is Miss Barbara, y'all. She lives right there. And she was a single mama of 2 kids and did just fine. And listen, she mothers me and Maggie and anybody else who gets out of line here. So, yes, but you weren't born in Tucson either. So there's a little bit of difference. But these wackos right here, they're talking about how whacked it is, over in Tucson. Tucson's got it so bad. None of y'all are working with the full deck. I mean, your elevator, everything's going wrong here. I don't know what to say. Julio says, yes, they should be reporting of their own volition, but it's not really their fault if they are not sure. Right, but wouldn't you write it? I mean, if you're disturbed, when I'm disturbed about stuff, like, I don't know. I don't know. I just think I would have written it on the board or something. I don't know. She looked like she wasn't affiliated with authorities or the family, in case some random person. She did look weird. And then that car came and picked her up. Like, this place just gets weirder and weirder to me. G. Morrison says, this totally reminds me of the John Benet Ramsey investigation. Preach it, which was handled by a completely unqualified police department. The FBI should have been brought in day one. Agreed. Shame that case is not solved and that baby has not gotten justice yet. Shame. Julio said, isn't the neighbor talking about before Nancy went missing? She was talking about both before and after, but which part are you talking about, Julio? And she locks her damn doors. Yeah. So if we find out a signal was jammed, we can cross that with the Kia Soul in the area as let's check every cell phone ping around and during the internet jamming. Right. But remember in the beginning, you guys, I said, remember that a couple days prior to Nancy going missing, it said that she had some kind of workers, and then I think somebody in the chat told me it was electrician, supposedly, right, working on the house, right? And I said, I wonder if they fucked with her cameras or something like that. But here's something else somebody said, and I don't know where I saw it, but I thought that's brilliant. Pardon me, went down the wrong pipe. So if there was a jam in the internet, how was the camera working up until he snatched the camera off? And then once the camera was taken off at what time was it, guys? Was it 1:40 something in the morning? Yeah, 1:40 something in the morning. Okay, so if that, and then at 2 something, they say they see an individual walking or moving. How was that recorded then? See, I mean, we're missing pieces of this puzzle. We're just missing pieces of the puzzle. Because if the camera's not there, what recorded the individual walking around the 2 a.m.? And if everything was jammed, how do we have footage of the guy at Nancy's door? I don't know. But you are vigilant, others are not so. I can honestly say, I have to be honest about it, you guys. It's not been until recently, and I'm still not good about being vigilant. I'm not going to lie. I'm not nearly as safe as I should be. So I'm one to talk, right? I believe in the saying it takes a village, but it seems like it's Smurf Town instead. Something's weird. These people are weird. People are scared. I'd lock mine too. Someone had to have some sort of knowledge in tech. Well, and I think somebody's told them to be quiet. What other neighborhood do you know of where people aren't out there? Hey, I'll give you an interview. I mean, they're just now doing it. And that's because things have started to disperse. And what about them taking her sister's DNA and them telling her they can't answer any questions because they can't give anything away about the crime? You have my DNA. I want to know where that's going, and if it's going to a database somewhere, and someone's going to answer some fucking questions, because nobody had a search warrant for my house. And I, out of the goodness of my heart, let in FBI agents that you say weren't, and then they are, and now you're not going to answer questions. Somebody needs to hold somebody accountable, and I'm not sure who you're supposed to hold accountable. Julio says, like the James guy, speaking to JLR, yes, that's what Don was talking about. People were saying report him. However, I am this particular person was either bipolar or schizophrenic and on some kind of substance. Well, Julio, Don says that he was back today. Hi, Melly Joe. Good to see you. Y'all, the Aussies are just coming in. There are lots of bits missing that we are not being told. And I, Julio, I understand 100% that they can't tell us everything. But when shit like this comes out and you're just like, wait, what happened? Like, what's going on? And they didn't, well, we knew, right, that. So the sheriff said that he never turned it over to the FBI. So why would the FBI, without the sheriff's knowledge, be going door to door to door and asking to look in people's garages? I mean, did they just randomly pick that house to do that at? Here's another thought that I had while I was listening to that, and I wrote it down. If that was the only this is what I would do if I was Brian Enton. I'd be finding somebody else that would talk to me. Because if that was the only house that happened in, do you think it was a kind of a sting thing that they had something on that house? Maybe someone who possibly lived there or whatever, that somebody, had tipped them off anonymously that something was going on in that house and it was all planned this way. I mean, at this point, I don't think anything is out of the realm of possibility. I just don't. There were lots of missing bits that were not being told. I have always locked my doors, Miss Barbara says. Has Annie gotten her car back? Now isn't that weird too? So we heard that she hadn't, and then like the very next day when I looked into it, it said that the police were releasing it to them. And then I saw something else that says that it was actually being worked on and being kept somewhere else. So does anybody know? Do you guys know anything about the car? Has anybody heard anything? Yeah, they're running underground occult and cults Inc. Oof. Take my DNA. I want to know. Hi, RC. Good to see you, Godfather. Thank you for coming in. I mean, don't you have the right to say, what are you doing with my DNA? What are you going to do now? Because you didn't, if you had your shit together and known that that really was FBI, you wouldn't have my DNA right now. So, I mean, somebody's got to answer to this, y'all. The latest I heard regarding Annie's car is that it was definitely in evidence, but it is now being repaired. Oh, you mean, so they must have taken it apart piece by piece, Julio? And that's what they're having to repair. I wonder if they're having to pay for it. Does the state have to pay for that, or the county, or whatever? Who would pay for that to be done? Dawn says, wouldn't you have a warrant to enter the home? Well, she said that they came up to the door and asked, you know, we're looking at the Nancy Guthrie case, FBI, can we just search your garage? And she said someplace in the house or whatever. She was like, yeah, sure. But she was there by herself. And then she got kind of freaked out and she called the police. The police came out and other FBI agents came out. And they were like, those were fake. They weren't really us. They took her DNA. Why would you take her DNA? Why? It would be a crime against her now. So why would you need her DNA? I don't think I would have given up stuff that easy. I don't. But maybe in the freak out of it all, maybe I would have. I don't know. But once they told me, oh, we got it mixed up, that really was FBI at your house, I would be like, what the hell did you guys do with my DNA? And what database did you put it into? Not that I would have anything to worry about, y'all. I walk the straight and narrow. You hear me? I walk the straight and narrow. I don't come off the straight or narrow very often. Only when tequila's involved, and I've sworn off. So I'm on the straight and narrow. My DNA is in the database because I had to find my daddy, y'all. I had to find my daddy. And he wasn't rich like I thought he would be. Wait, what kind of car does Annie have? And wonder why they're holding it. It has to be some explanation. Well, because supposedly that was the last car before Nancy's quote unquote abduction that supposedly Nancy was in. Because remember, Tomato, the family, we've gotten so many different people talking about, or so many different things from the police about who actually was the one that took Nancy home. That was the last vehicle they knew Nancy to be in before the quote unquote abduction. So they took that car in to process it. I don't know what kind of car it is. So does anybody else know? MJ says repaired by police or while in police custody. Not sure. Hi, Dixie. Hi. It's not right. It is ridiculous. That sheriff should have done better. He's a clown 100%. And I agree with you, Love Bug, 100%. Diamond Lucidity says, I think James truly believes what he is saying. Who's James? Trying to remember James. James. Who's James? Julio, however, I'm not 100% sure that means the car will be released. Well, you know, when they take cars in for processing, y'all, I mean, they tear those things down to nothing. Nothing. So I don't know how they would even fix it. I mean, it goes to nothing. Scrap. Julio says, yes, they would have taken it completely apart from metrics, data points, and every little thing. Yeah, so how in the world would they even, I mean, it would be scrap. So what are we talking about? Hi, Miss June. Good to see you, love bug. James believes that Nash guy knows the answer. He said if anyone knows, Nash knows. Oh, James, the guy that was talking to JLR, the weird one. Right. Okay, Diamond. Gotcha. And I meant we were going to cover that last night as well. And then we have the Great Flood here. Julio says, I think you let them in. They come in. It is like what's happening at Annie's and Tommaso's. They were allowing them in. Right. But they took her DNA after it was said. So not them. When she called the police and said, what's going on? This seems a little bit weird. And they come running out and they were like, no, that was not the FBI. These are people impersonating the FBI. They take her DNA. That makes no sense. And then they swapped her house, right, for fingerprints. And then they took all that in and processed it, and bada bing, bada bang, they call her or show up back up at her door, and they're like, oh, our mistake. It was the FBI. My next question would be like, where's my DNA? What are you doing with it? What's going to happen now? And for them to say they can't say anything, y'all, that's just something's wrong. Something's wrong there. That's why I don't know. And maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Maybe I'm paying too much attention, trying to dig and trying to reach. But I wonder if that was all set up. It sounds set up. Doesn't it sound set up? They call James the drunk guy. His dad has brought him there twice. He talked to JLR. Yes, and I was going to talk about that last night, and we will get on that. We need to talk about it. I need to show it to people that haven't seen it. Miss June, thank you so much. 111 people in chat. Hit the 3 dots and show your love and support. Thank you so much. That's all I ever ask of anybody. I don't even ask anybody to sub up or nothing here. You do what you got to do. All I ask is that you just hit the thumbs up for me, and thank you so much. Don says, I'm wondering if James was the guy that got stopped by the police and they said it was a DUI. He was in the blue SUV in the car. I can't remember. So there were 2, right, Don? So the same time they were processing the Range Rover, there was a blue car pulled over. You're right. There was a blue car pulled over at the same time. It was a blue SUV. You're right. And Lee says, funny note, the Guthrie family has a cousin by law that had an article today about how they used to come to West Knoxville and Nancy would take kids to see their family in Kentucky. Wow, really? Really? That's nuts. It's funny to me how family is coming out of the woodwork. That's right. Well, oh, you guys, there's so much we could talk about right now. But I got to say something for tomorrow and the next day. There's so much I could tell you about that family that we found out. Oh, I wish JLR could talk to James's dad. That would be real nice. Never give up DNA or fingerprints without a lawyer. That's right. That is right. That's exactly right. I'm sure she was scared to pieces, though. And, you know, I mean, it's law enforcement standing there. You got the FBI in your house. You got the police in your house. I'd probably be scared too, you know. I don't know. Miss June says, did you see the woman who literally went up to the door and did some trespassing all because she's nosy? Yes, that was terrible. And I'm so glad that JLR walked behind her and got good pictures of her and plastered it everywhere, because that's shady stuff. Who goes up? Listen, I love me some crime scene, y'all. I looked into be a crime scene cleanup person, me and my daughter. The only thing that held us back from doing crime scene cleanup, you guys, is you have to be on 24 hours and then you're off like 24, 48 hours, depending on what city you live in. In our city, it's 24 on, 36 off, 24 on, 30, and that's how that runs, right? Y'all, I'm good to go. Like, you can call me anywhere from like, 2 o'clock till like 5 or 6 in the morning, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 5, 6 in the morning. Between about 6 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock, PM, don't be calling me because I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to drink coffee, and that's the reason why. So I love being a good crime scene. And, but y'all, I got couth. There was no way I would walk up and take pictures of the inside of that house and all over that, whatever she was taking pictures of. I mean, because, it's got windows on the door, long windows. And I don't think they had anything covering them unless they just did it recently. And you could, because, we were seeing right in there where there was a pretty lamp in there sitting on a table. You could look right through next to next to the door. There's a window there and see right in it. But she just walked right on up there and took pictures of the blood and all that. Now, listen, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it either, but not in this circumstance. Not an open case like this. You know what I mean? Where the police are coming and they're going and you don't know if I mean, I just found it very, very tacky, very tacky. James's dad drives him around. Wonder what for though? What for? Girl, when I saw that woman go up to the door just to see if there was blood on the floor outside the house, because they don't clean that up. It stays right there until they get a cleaning crew. That's right. That's right. Probably because he got a DUI and lost his license. You're probably correct. Julio says, it's really weird. I'm picking up that she was a psychic or something of that, I don't know, or a religious person saying a prayer. Oh, the lady who went up to the house, you mean Julio? Well, she was taking pictures with her phone. So she was videotaping the whole thing. And then, I mean, if you're psychic, you would already know there's blood there and you could just bring it up in your mind, right? I mean, what kind of a psychic are you that you need pictures? I mean, I'm just being sickening right now. I still think it's tacky, no matter what your reasoning is. JLR today didn't know if he should stay or go home and said, throw me a bone. Then bam, James showed up and a prayer lady showed up and others. There's your sign. What about the barrel they found? I have got that pulled up. You guys want to check into that real quick? I can pull it up real quick. Because James has a mental illness, they say. That woman didn't say anything, but looked directly at the camera. She saw the signs too. She acted like she didn't even care. It was very odd. Yeah, and right before she stepped onto the property, she's like filming down the street, walking down the street. And then she turns around and she looks behind her and then kind of just walks straight up on the property. It was terrible. Thank you, Miss June. She ain't no psychic. She was being nosy as hell. And I said, and Miss June said, I said, who? Oh, there's a nosy like that where they don't even care. Who the hell are you? That's what Miss June was saying. Who the hell are you? All right, let's pull this up. Give me a second. Let me pull up the barrel real quick. That is all that Mr. Brian had. We're at the end of that one, you guys. So we're done with that. Thank you to Brian Enton. We love you so much. And we will drop his link in chat as soon as one of my mods can do it. Y'all sub up to him. Let me pull this up real quick. Let's talk about the barrel that was found. Get that out of the way. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, y'all. Mods, I cannot see chat right now because I have to read this. All right, this is my source, you guys, is Fox News. Okay, coming out of Tucson. More than 5 weeks after the suspected abduction of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie, Arizona authorities say cadaver dogs used early in the investigation are currently not being deployed. Hold on. That's the wrong one. That was the one. Let me just finish that with you guys because I wanted to let you guys know about, I'm pissed off about this when I found this out. That about the cadaver dogs. You remember on day 2, they brought out cadaver dogs and they brought out search dogs. They do 2 different things. Cadaver dogs can smell a body 6 feet underground and 6 miles away, depending on air conditions, wind, and such the like. Okay. I'm pissed off about this. All right. So that's why I brought this up. And then we'll get straight over to the barrel. The elder Guthrie is believed to have been kidnapped from her home in the Catalina foothills north of Tucson around 2:30 a.m. on February the 1st. While no suspects have been publicly identified, she has not been found. Cadaver dogs had been deployed earlier in the case, according to Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos. They have not been visible in weeks. They are available if needed in the future, the sheriff told Fox Digital. There are a number of reasons not to be using cadaver dogs at this stage in the investigation, according to Betsy Bratner Smith, a retired police sergeant and spokeswoman for the National Police Association. One would be if there's credible information that Guthrie is still alive. Anything is possible, he told Fox News Digital last week, adding that he would not discuss specific leads or evidence in this case. Smith, who is not involved in this case, said departments may hold back canine resources for several reasons. Those could be that authorities don't have a good idea of where to search. They think she might be concealed in a place where dogs would have a hard time detecting her, or they believe she's been taken to Mexico. And all the people say, I do believe that the sheriff's department has much more information that they are not releasing to the public, she said, and I am not sure at this point why they would be unless they have a solid suspect and don't want to tip them off. Y'all, that's where I'm starting to lean. And for those that didn't know about the tunnels, here's a picture of one of the investigators in the tunnel near Nancy's house. Actually, I think there's a couple of them there. Most departments, including the Pima County Sheriff's, don't have their own cadaver dogs and borrow them from state and federal authorities or neighboring jurisdictions. In the Guthrie case, the Sheriff's Department sought assistance from the local Border Patrol office earlier in the investigation. PCSD deferred further comment to the canines to Custom and Border Protection, which did not immediately respond to request for the comment. The biggest lead so far has been the Nest camera video showing a masked intruder on Guthrie's doorstep the morning of her abduction. He is described as 5 feet 9 inches to 5 feet 10 inches tall and of medium build. He was wearing a black Ozark Trail backpack. Authorities have said they won't consider the case cold until they run out of viable leads to follow up on. And tens of thousands have come in so far. And then it gives the 1-800 call FBI if you have any information on the disappearance. All right, so there's that. All right, barrel, what barrel? All right, let's talk about the barrel. Hi, Diane, so good to see you. There was nothing in the barrel, so hi, Karen, so good to see you. All right, let me just, hi, John. All right, the British are coming, Sorry, not been around, in the hospital for a week with pneumonia and swollen hip, spine with my broken foot. Oh, God bless you, John. Many prayers and big hugs out to you, love bug. I hope you're on the road to recovery, and we will be praying for you. Someone I know was chopped up and put in a barrel. Someone came forward to say where the barrel was buried, and it was never found. All right, let's go ahead and just, let me try to find it really quick, you guys. What did I have that up for? Oh, here it is. Okay. Yep. Got it. Let's just read about it. This is the latest that I can find that came out on it. And this was, my source is the Inquisitor. March the 9th at 6:11 p.m. You guys, so I think it said that it had been released 7 hours ago. All right, so we know Nancy was last seen on the night of Saturday, January 31st, when she arrived home in Tucson, Arizona at approximately 9:48 p.m. The sudden disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, came as a major shock to people of the nation. Investigators have been following all major leads after Nancy was reported missing on February the 1st. The 84-year-old was last seen on the night of Saturday, January the 31st, when she arrived home in Tucson, Arizona at approximately 9:48 p.m., according to Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos. Nancy was reportedly under medication and lived in a secluded, upscale, and scenic neighborhood north of the city. Authorities suspect that she may have been kidnapped. Savannah and her siblings have been actively searching for their missing mother. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has announced a reward of up to, that's real old. I don't know where they're getting that because we know that the award is up over $1 million now. All right, let's go down here. On February the 16th, this is just going back over the case. The FBI said it would use the National DNA Database called the Combined DNA Index System, CODIS, to check DNA found on a pair of gloves. We know that those gloves were checked and they were not had anything to do with this at all. So let's just keep going. Using a grabber, the duo lifted. Okay, hold on. All right. According to the Irish Star, the active search for Nancy intensified after two individuals believed to be true crime content creators were observed pulling a large white barrel from the river near her home. Whoopsie. Okay. Using a grabber, the duo lifted the barrel, noting a strong odor and swarming flies. True Crimes accounts reported finding miscellaneous items nearby, including an empty box of small caliber bullets and a Modelo beer can. Y'all, really, I can read. Never mind. Local residents have suggested that the barrel may be connected to the disappearance, but investigators have not confirmed any link. Meanwhile, authorities from Phoenix later confirmed that the woman's body had been found in a canal Meanwhile, authorities from Phoenix later confirmed that a woman's body had been found in a canal roughly 182 to 187 kilometers from Nancy's residence. The identity of the woman has not been revealed at the time of this writing. Owing to Savannah's connection, the case has received widespread support, prayers, and awareness. Authorities involved in Nancy's investigation said they won't quit even though the search may be longer than expected. Nanos, in an interview with the New York Times on Friday, February the 13th, stated, maybe it's an hour from now, maybe it's weeks, months, or even years from now, but we won't quit. We're going to find Nancy Guthrie. We're going to find this guy. So you guys, it doesn't give anything on it. It just, so can somebody give me a source? Because when I looked, I could not find a source on it. That was the last thing. Let me go back up here and see what anybody else says. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Will you do me a favor and hit the thumbs up for me? Thank you so much. All right. There's Brian Inton's link. It's way up there. If you guys are not subbed to him, please do so. Let's see. I just want to make sure to get all this. Okay. Yes, correct. The psychic should not have to go there. Pretty audacious. Let's see. I had the weirdest feeling the other day. I was just laying down watching TV and felt as if I was having chest pain. I also saw they put her in the car and brought her to a doctor. Well, if they did that, that would be over in Mexico, correct? Then I saw a license plate and said MP and 35 something. So I don't know if the license plate have MP. I also saw a flag on the license plate. I don't know what state that is from. Anybody could tell me. Thank you for dropping Brian's link, y'all. I saw her complaining, but I do believe they might have brought her to the doctors and then brought her back to the house. His mom knows that she's there because she's cooking for her. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. Need to Google Trump's connection to Savannah Guthrie. She's journalist and has said words about Trump. He's gone after ABC, CBS. Savannah works for NBC. I'm going to write that down. Thank you for that, Linda. Let me, I always try to write stuff down that you guys tell me so that I can look it up myself. Thank you for that information. I will look that up. Barrel, what barrel? Okay, there's nothing in the barrel. Can somebody please, I'm getting down to it. Hopefully somebody's giving me something to look up. She's not dead. She's in the brink of death, though, because she had a heart attack recently. So she's still right now in the house. Disclaimer, you guys, Miss June Sunshine, you guys, is, I don't know what she calls herself or would call herself, but she has some kind of clairvoyance. So that's what she is talking about in the chat. John says, okay, we got to John. John, we love you, honey. Karen, hello. I have read that there was blood in the house. Where and how much? Good question. I always said that if there was blood on the outside, there's blood on the inside. I think, well, definitely, I'm pretty sure there's some right inside the front door because they weren't even, the police, FBI, everybody wasn't even using the front door. Remember, they weren't coming in and out of there. So I'm sure that that's got blood there too. But it does make you wonder how much. I did hear Ashley Banfield say that one of her sources there said that it was quite a bit. Got a bad feeling. How about you? I've had one, Karen. I've had one. Searching with Jim, headed back tomorrow. Oh, are you really, Diane? God bless you and be safe, okay? Be safe. The barrel was checked that DGL found with JLR, okay? I didn't know JLR was one of the ones that found it as well. That's really cool that you have these abilities, Miss June. Poor family, she's gone, but where? I agree, Karen, 100%. They're doing that on purpose so people can waste their time on loose leads. Hi, Jane Rice. Good to see you, honey. Thank you for coming in. Horrific, they would have said that they found the body. Diane says the woman in the canal was 43-year-old named Alex. Very sad, very sad. God bless her family. Don says if it was Nancy, they wouldn't tell us anyway. I'm sure we'd all like to know. Well, I do know that there were some reports today and also a picture today that Nancy, I'm so sorry, Savannah Guthrie was seen out on the streets of New York for the first time today. But the picture I saw her, it looked like the same picture of the clothes she was wearing when she was at her station. So I didn't check into it. I had to get online. If it was Nancy, they wouldn't tell us anyways, right? DGL was called tonight and they told him it was a quarter barrel full of mud. He called JLR. Gotcha. Okay. 100 people, 107 people in chat. Hit the 3 dots, show your support. Thank you so much for that, you guys. Thank you, Miss June. Sorry, I'm cooking for my dog. Haven't been watching chat. It's okay, MJ. It's okay. Off subject, please pray for my son. He's over in this mess with Iran. He got deployed last week. Oh, gosh. Please, when you do hear from him, thank him for his service. I have a lot of respect. I come from a long line of military people, and thank you for raising such a great boy that he would go serve his country like that. God bless him. God keep him, and God bless America. Keep our soldiers safe. There's somebody else, Hope's Echo, who is also one of our mods. You guys, her grandson is also deployed, and he's in some kind of special ops, and she doesn't even know where he's at. So big prayers to all of those who have got family and loved ones wrapped up in this mess, or even here in the home front. Thank God for our soldiers, airmen, and Marines, and sailors. You guys, amazing. I wouldn't live anywhere else. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else than to be a citizen of this country. I don't give a damn who's in office. That's just me. I have not found anywhere where it states the barrel has been cleared. Thank you so much, Julia. Last thing I saw was 7 hours ago, and it said it wasn't. So there's that. If someone can find where it has been, please provide the source. Yeah, the source was JLR's stream tonight. Who's DGL? Somebody tell me who DGL is. Lots of reporting on the barrel, though. Yeah, there was a lot. They need to hire a cleaning crew so these little noses lose it. I think they did, Miss June. Remember that day, the last day that the FBI and the lawyers and stuff was out there. A couple hours later, we saw like a regular van, white van, go inside the garage. All of us thought maybe that was the cleaning crew. I mean, I would think that, I would hope Savannah would want to see that to the end before she left. I know I would. And then I want my mom's house locked up, but we're all different. I found this interesting. Trump is involved. Savannah did a show about Epstein, so he was trying to, let me find Karen's, the rest of hers. Okay. Listen, I'm not at this point. Nothing is out of the realm of possibility to me. Nothing. Hi, Dawn Hildebrand. Good to see you. What's the latest? The latest is, well, what I hadn't heard, and most of us hadn't heard, was Brian Enton. You have to look at his last video he did on his. There's a lady that lives kind of either around the corner or 2 blocks over that was talking about her sister's house the day Nancy went missing. There was a big brouhaha and mess up between the police or the sheriff's office and the FBI, and they went to her house. And anyways, it's a lot. Just if you go and you watch Brian Enton's, because I've already shown it here. If you watch Brian Enton's thing, last video he did on it, it's really good. He talks to the one of the neighbors there that grew up there, still lives there after 40 years. Her mother is living on her own right down the street, I guess. Her sister lives down the street from Nancy. Her mother lives on another street. They all live in the same community. Her mother's 87 years old. She said she still lives by herself. A lot of information on that one. Go check it out. But don't leave us. Tell us what you think, girlfriend. Who's going to search? Who's going to search? Who's going to come out and search? Man, I wish I could come. JLR, Dad's gone live. Oh, that's right. Okay, thank you. Behind Green Eyes, we're boots on the ground. Thank you so much for that. You need some kind of hacking tool to listen to what's going on in people's houses. And I know I shouldn't say that, but you do. Hi, Vicky. Good to see you, honey. Thank you for coming in. Join chat. Let us know what you think. Listen, no judgment whatsoever at all. No judgment at all. You won't be beat up here for your thoughts on this. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody's allowed to share their opinion. We just got to respect the fact that we have the right to have our own opinion. Sherman says, praying for the soldier. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. Australia's officially been dragged into it now. Well, 99 in chat. Thank you, Miss June. So good to see everybody here. I appreciate all of you guys. Jump in chat. Tell us what you think. What's your thought about it? What's your thought about what's going on here? I mean, has your opinion changed from the very beginning? I feel like I've only swayed one time and then I am right back to where I was. Right back to where I was. So mine hasn't changed much, and I'm still sticking with what I always thought in the beginning. AKA Jacob. Thank you guys so much. I'm so far behind, I'm sorry. I need to live somewhere else because I wouldn't mind being in another country just for a little bit. I did it, done with it. Vicky says, I'm praying so hard for Nancy and her family. I hope the sick person gets caught and gets what's coming to him. Amen and amen. Are you Aussie? The great Julio one. They're trying to get paperwork because they had to crack the safe. You guys, I'm starting to really believe. Now I have my own theory on what happened, right? And who's involved. But I'm starting to believe that the police really do know who's involved. And they can't prove it. Can't prove it yet. That's just what I'm starting to get. I'm starting just with Savannah leaving, going, and listen, she has 2 young kids, y'all. She's got to go back. Now, I don't want to be judgmental or sound judgmental, but I know for me, there's no way I could go back to work. Like, no way. No way. I couldn't sit there and smile and act like everything's okay. It took me 6 months to even look somebody in the eye and not hate everybody for not acknowledging that my mama passed away when they didn't even know. But it's weird what grief puts you through. But some people also have to get back at it to begin the healing process. But I just think that the police have already told the family, look, she's gone. We've got a good couple of leads. We're waiting on these to pan out and we'll be in touch. That's what I think is being said. Anybody going to search for him or her? I'm sorry, I don't know why I said them, but someone said in the chat they're searching for her. Who? I'm not exactly sure. There was a safe. I missed that one. Okay, Dawn. So when the police and the FBI and all of the lawyers came out there and the prosecutor's office, all of them showed up. The last thing, when they were going back over it and stuff, before everybody got there, before those 3 unmarked dark SUVs pulled up, there was a white SUV that pulled up, and there was already a white truck that was there. And we could clearly hear from the outside of the house, we could clearly hear what sounded like a drill, like an electric drill. But the more I sat and listened to it, it didn't sound like a drill to me. It sounded like a hand saw, like they were sawing out a piece of a wall. Or JB, who is our retired FBI agent that is a mod here, she said it could have been locks, like deadbolts or something like that, or locked or to the safe. So we have to just wait and see. He's so sick and deranged to take poor Nancy down. Well, let's just, we have to keep our minds open. And like I said, nothing is out of a possibility for me. Hi, Pat. Good to see you. So good to see you. Thank you for coming in. And I mean, I have my own theories too. I don't like my theory at all, but oh gosh, I just hope my theory's wrong. I just want it to be wrong. The reason why I said some kind of hacking tools because they're going out to look for her. So it's best to kind of see and sit in your car to figure out where she is. Yes, ma'am, I agree. I keep thinking, what if that was my mom or my grandma? I'd go to hell and back. Yes. Yep. Miss Pat or Mr. Pat thinks that she's alive. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting us know It was her son-in-law. So you think she's still alive, but the son-in-law, do you think the son-in-law is who we're seeing on the porch, or do you think he set somebody up to do it? Dawn is not changed her opinion either. Miss June says, looks like I'm going to have to go out and get some plants because they were going into war. I refuse to be hungry because we're going into war. I refuse to be hungry with no food. China is having talks, getting involved too with this war. My heart can't take it. I'm a ball of mess. Oh, Dawn, I wish I could hug you. Oh, girlfriend, I wish I could hug you. I know the feeling on different levels, having a son too in the military and also being married to a soldier and being raised. It doesn't get any easier. It doesn't, but my prayers are with you, and God's going to take care of that boy of yours, and he's going to take care of the rest of us too. I haven't heard any new news. But what you got to make the money, secondly, rich people got problems, big bills, so she's got to go back to work. I understand. You're right. You're right. And some people do need that. Like, I could see my husband, he probably would be that person that would go back after a week. Now, in this situation right here, this is different. Y'all, I'm wheezing. I need to take some medicine. I will in just a second. This is a different situation. My mom passed away from not natural cause, but natural part, just was time for her to go. She wasn't taken from me. I think that would just put me away longer. If this was my mom, y'all would all have to be coming to visit me in the loony bin, because I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. There was 1 hour, and it was after my mother's death, that I did not know where my mom was. My whole adult life, even when I spent 6.5 years in Germany, and I knew where my mom was, at least where she was staying and stuff, kept up with her as much as I could. But when I was in the States, even when my mom and I didn't live in the same state, I knew at all times where my mom was. And I'm telling y'all, I wouldn't live through this. I would not. I just wouldn't. Someone in chat said they're going out to search for her. I think, yeah, she did say she was going to go with Dad Gone Live. Pat says that she believes she's alive. Hi, Chef. Good to see you. I think it was the son-in-law. There should be footage of her coming home, not to mention the FBI has had the call for quite a while now. Right. That's right. For a while there, when my mind was getting twisted, like they want us to do, they want us to be twisted. That's why I think this is all being run like this. I thought, what if she never came home? And then if you look at the video of the guy on the porch, there's no blood on the ground. So the blood we know is hers because it's already been tested. And so she did leave. She obviously came home at some point, left the house again, bleeding. And I think she was dead when she left the house. That's just my opinion. I think she was already dead. And I also think it was the son-in-law. I don't think it's the son-in-law we're seeing on camera. I think he's the mastermind. I don't think Nancy's alive. I honestly think they hurt her bad, on top of her not having her meds to stay alive as well. Miss June says, I do believe they might have sawed into the safe because, older people have like a safe that's part of the wall or in the floor. Yeah, exactly. And that's what so you guys already know JB, she's a 20-year FBI, she's retired FBI agent, and she's a mod here. She's asleep right now, you guys. She don't stay up all night long with me. But that's what she said. She said, I guarantee you she had I mean, as old as she was, where she lives, the money, she probably has like a stand-up safe, you know, like not one of those small ones that I used to have in my closet or anything, but you just never know, right? If you think it was her son-in-law, do you think Annie knew? I'm not, Diane, I'm not sure about that. I one minute I think so, and the next minute I'm like, I think I let my heart get involved. You know what I mean? Like, what daughter could do that and then look at her sister and look at her? So I don't know. I think I'm still sitting on the fence with that. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong about everything. I don't want to be right about none of this. That's just what I think. But I mean, I think I would know if my partner, I may not know what he's done, but I can tell when my husband's looking guilty of something. I'm like, what'd you do? What's going on? You know what I mean? So if she wasn't involved and didn't know, I just have to believe she would be able, you know how in your house, like you can feel like a heaviness, like if somebody's pissed or somebody's upset or somebody's sad, you can walk in and you just feel that energy, or people are happy, you feel that energy. I think I would be able to feel the energy, like something's off here. What's going on? And never my first thought would be any kind of a crime. You know what I mean? But I'd be like, did you wreck the cars or something? You know what I mean? I'd be like, what did you do? That's what I believe. So maybe she wasn't involved or didn't have any knowledge of it. But how can you live with someone and not be able to feel the energy unless you're just not paying attention? Hi, MP. Good to see you. I still think tomato tomaso hot sauce dude has something to do with it. That's what Dawn says. Son-in-law have her somewhere. Very possible. Miss June says, I'm that way with my grandmother. I love that woman to bits. Even though she's the step-grandmother, she acted like my grandma. If they had my mom, it'd be terrible. I don't even want to think about it. Leah is here. Check her out, y'all. Good to see you, Leah. Have a good look behind Green Eyes community post. Okay, let me write that down. Sorry, guys. Behind Green Eyes. Okay, thank you for that. Full details about what she did to report the barrel. She tried to report it to the FBI, but told to report it to Pima County. Oh my God. You got to be kidding me. Are you shitting me? So I wonder if they ever got it pulled up. Miss June says they might probably bring her back if they had her. My mom, not a good person, so they would probably return her because of the complaining and the crap they would have to deal with. Well, I always say that about me too. If you're going to kidnap me, believe you me, you will bring me back because my mouth will not shut up. Miss Vicky says, I keep wondering about the church lady have something to do with this. Oh, the one that she was supposed to meet at her house. Good one. I haven't heard that one yet. Try to write that one down too. It's strange. There's no video of the car in the driveway at all. Yeah, what do they? But remember, there was no cameras. Y'all, I'm just lost. I'm so lost. There's no cameras. But then there's a nest. But isn't a nest a camera? I'm so lost. Maybe she was attacked when someone brought her home and she fought, which led to her being outdoors and kidnapped. Well, remember, Savannah said in her last video that her mother was taken out of her bed in the dead of night. So that's how we know she was in bed. I don't think she was even taken home. But it would take years to collect on inheritance. Right. But you know what? People are stupid. People are stupid. I didn't even know, because I don't think about life insurance. Why would I think about life insurance? I mean, nobody cares here. I didn't even know until I went researching for this case that it takes 7 years to have someone declared dead if there's not a body. So if they don't find her body, if he is the executor of her will and over her estate and named as one of the people who's in her will, it's going to take 7 years to begin that process. Natalie Holloway, if you guys remember her, that went over to Aruba on her senior trip, and she went missing over there. And her parents for years and years kept going back to Aruba. They knew who had done it, Joran Vandersloot. Anyways, he finally, years and years after the crime, 12 years after, 10 years after, something like that, he finally admitted to it. But her mom and her biological father were divorced when it happened. And he finally told her mom, he's like, look, she's gone and we're not going to find her. We need to declare her dead. And her mom, I could understand having a hard time with that. But so he said, look, we need to declare her dead and then use the money because they had a son, right? A younger son. And they used the money to like pay his way through college and stuff, which I thought was really nice to do. So, yeah, it takes if there's nobody, it'd be a good long 7 years before they can even begin that process. So suck it. If it is you, tomato hot sauce dude. Their timing just seems off. June says, I saw the surveillance video of tomatoes hot sauces being questioned. It's on the internet. Oh, I need to go and look for it. I haven't seen that. Let me write that down. Y'all, I've been loving me some interrogation videos. Oh my God, I would love to be an interrogator. I'd be like, give me your fingernail. Terrible. I'm here, wanted to let you know I had a dream last night, and the intuition today that something was going to happen tomorrow, Tuesday, March 10th. I heard breaking news. Nuh-uh. That means I'm going to have to stay up all freaking night, Leah, and then put Maggie on call tomorrow. Oh, Lord. 124 people in chat. Please hit the 3 dots to show your love and support. Thank you so much. Son-in-law and band member. That's where I'm at, Vicky. I'm right with you. We're reading from the same page. I don't understand now why he's talking. I know when someone is lying. I feel like I'm not that good, to tell you the truth. I don't automatically think people are lying, but I could tell when my kids are lying and when my husband's lying and when my sister's lying, when my mom lied, when my other sister's lying. I can't really tell when my brother's lying, though. And anybody else, I'm always like, no, they're not lying. They're sweet. They were there with her that night, Pat says. Leah says, I can't remember all of it, but let's hope I'm right. It was either they found her body or they found evidence. And then I woke up from the dream. And when I woke up, I just had a feeling it's right. Listen, your prayers to God's ears. Let's go. I'm ready for it. Tomorrow's 33 years since my mom passed away. Oh, Miss Barbara, I'm so sorry. Big hugs to you. Rest in peace, Grandma. We love you. They're not going to find her body yet. I don't know why everyone thinks she's dead. She's on the brink of death, and knowing that people are using this and doing this so early is quite sad. Well, Miss June, listen, everybody's welcome to their opinion. And just like you can understand that I think that she is gone, I don't understand how you think she's still here. But here we are. you know, and that's what this is about. It's just people coming together and having a discussion, and we may not understand everybody's theories or why they would even think that way, but um it's I mean, it's great conversation, and I love conversation. This case has been upside down and in and out. It's like a Dr. Seuss book. I know. Remember, I told you I have intuition. I had a neighbor who I felt a male presence came through something with the motorcycle. She told her mom in Spanish, and her mom cried. She had a son die in an accident. Oh, goodness. Joyce, good to see you, love bug. Damage. Hello. Good to see you. So Nest is owned by, I do believe, the very popular Ring Camera people, and she didn't have her subscription, not had the contract Google for that. Oh, so she didn't have, so it was still recording, but she wasn't paying for it. She was just being watched like we're being watched through our smart devices. It was in the cloud in Google. Makes sense now. Thank you. Thank you. I have a friend who gets visions and signs that to her, Leah, she creeps me out all the time. How randomly accurate she is. Oh, I'm glad I don't have those things. I just so glad. I'd be a chatterbox that want to bring me home, and I'd be kicking and screaming the whole way. Me too. Me too. I'd be calling them all kind of names. I'd be doing your mama jokes. Be terrible. I think Annie gave us a hint. What do you say? What do you say, Joyce? What do you mean? What hint did she give us? Did I miss it? Tell me, y'all. Is Maggie doing? She's doing so much better, Taz. Little Jessie, you know, her baby, her dog, did have to have her eye removed 4 days ago. So Maggie has been taking care of Jess. She had to go back to the doctors today because her eye swelled up really, really big, but it's okay. She's all right. Somehow she just got bumped it on something or whatever. She's not getting a lot of sleep because when she's asleep, little Jessie's supposed to wear her cone, and she doesn't want to wear it, and she's keeping Maggie awake. So just say a prayer. Listen, we love our animals too. They're our babies. And so Maggie's, oh, sweet Maggie, sweet Jessie. Hi, Janet. Good to see you. My mother-in-law would tell them they weren't going about things the right way. Then she'd want to play guitar and sing for them. She's just a few miles from there. Oh, bless your mom. I thought it was 10 years before they'll release the life insurance money. I don't know about that. I just know that unless they have a body, that they won't release it without having a death certificate. And it takes 7 years to have somebody legally put on paper that they're dead. I know I looked it up here, but I didn't check I just thought that automatically applied damage. So it could be, I know it takes time to have them declared dead. It has to go through the courts and stuff. So maybe that's what the 10 years is. I don't know. I know most life insurance pay out right away, so maybe that has to do with the crime. Leah says, I also drove past a lot with wraparound driveway and creepy, my old house. I had a feeling a family lived there and died. 2 parents, 2 kids. I pictured a fire. It was true. My neighbor told me. Oh no, I'd be running from my thoughts if I had to think all that. The barrel was just filled with mud, Joyce says. Okay. Miss Karen, that's so nice of you. My gosh. Thank you for saying that. Your show is amazing. Listen, do the best I can. Thank you so much. And acids. No shit. Oh my gosh, y'all. All this, all that. Hello. Good to see you. I feel like Karen says she feels like this week is it. Yeah, y'all like that live chat. Do that. Wait. They're planning on releasing the insurance money to these people without having a case being not even past 30 days. No. So they can't release it. They have to have, before life insurance is released, they have to have a death certificate. Without a body in the United States, you can't even apply for a death certificate for 7 years. And then the courts have to declare them dead. Do you guys remember, this is a long time ago, I'm pulling back from way back when I was a kid. Do you guys remember the Barker's Beauty, Janice Pennington? Y'all cannot believe I remember this. This is back when I was a kid. Anyways, I don't remember if it was her boyfriend of like so many years or her husband. He went missing, right? 7 years later, she finally supposedly he went hiking or ice mountain climbing or something. Anyways, disappeared, blah, blah, blah. And then she had him declared dead 7 years later. And y'all, he was alive. And that's all I got to say about that. I think he was in Mexico. Y'all look it up. Janice Pennington. That really happened. I have an intuition and a feeling that always comes true. I went to a casino one night, walked up to a lady I never met and felt that her husband or fiance just passed away. She burst into tears. Oh, no. I couldn't do all that. Bless you, Leah. You and Miss June just keep all that to yourself. I don't want nothing to do with that. Rest in peace, Grandma. Taz says, someone just said that they might be releasing insurance money. Where do you guys get that information? No. He was saying that that he thinks it takes 10 years to get the insurance money. Vicky says, by the way, where's Savannah's brother at? Probably went back home. You know, they're not talking. I would imagine he already left because he wasn't a part of the group that walked out to see the flowers and stuff, right? Diane says Cameron is back home and back on duty. Diane, I thought he was retired. 20 years, F-16 fighter pilot, colonel. Janice says, is there a reason why outside searchers aren't encouraged? That's a good question, isn't it? That's a real good question we've all been asking. I think they have been disencouraged because think of your block, Janice. Everybody, just for a second, think of your block. I've got elderly people living around me. Mr. Joe right next door, you guys. I adore that man. And he's in his late 70s. And if he went missing, I know the whole block, if not the whole neighborhood. And it's not that big of a neighborhood, but we'd all be out there. Nobody could tell us not to search for Mr. Joe. So why? Someone had to have told them, no, stop. I don't know either. I could feel her a couple days in the case, and now I had a weird feeling the other day eating some tangerines. I kept on seeing her in this room like that is all clay. Ooh, that reminds me a lot of Mexico when you said that. Nancy in my dream, Karen said, was in her house sitting across from me, but she was just sitting, and I saw her just fading away in a blue top, and yet she was smiling. Wow. A lot of clairvoyance in here tonight. I felt as if she had a heart attack in whatever jamming system they had not to have her pacemaker be picked up. She just was bitching at them, so they put her in the car with the ski mask on, and they brought her to the doctor's office and brought her back home. But she's not doing good at all from the heart thing. It's cool. We have an opinion. I was just confused because I guess I have hope. Please, I'm glad you do. I'm glad. You know, I don't have enough faith. I don't have enough hope, and I don't make is I hope I like to think I've got hope. I like to think that I've got faith. I don't know. This just is so wrong. Well, if our phones hear us, why not Nancy's watch? Good one. Very good. Because you know, they talk about that all the time, the TVs, the smartphones, the smart TVs, the Alexas, all that stuff. Nancy didn't have her phone or her watch. I think she's talking about while she was in the house. That way we could hear what was going on. Why wasn't it in the cloud then? You know what's really funny? They start chipping us after this. They ain't chipping me. I won't tell you where I'm going, but I'm not taking the chip. No, ma'am. Leah says, what about the lady at the casino? I said, I have a feeling you got a tattoo of him, and are you wearing a necklace or something? And she had his ashes in a necklace and a picture of him tattooed. Oh my gosh. So much clairvoyance. Ah, Jesse still looks cute as a button. We were laughing. We had Maggie laughing, and she was telling us about how you called little Jesse, the cute little Cyclops doggy. We were laughing, and I told her because she was like, Jessie wouldn't shut her eyes. I was like, she doesn't have eyes. She has one eye. Y'all, we're just being facetious, okay? That's all. We're really smart ass people around here. Mind you, I never met that lady in my life, and I was drunk at the time doing this reading, so I do have powers. I need to learn how to use them better. Death certificate, Jenna says, all information given them processed. When you said this, I can't remember either, Karen, but it was something about this being a good live. But it just made me think, it made me feel good, so thank you. Hit the 3 dots, y'all. Double tap your screen, magic happens. Hi, Sally. I thought you had to be missing for 7 years before you could be declared dead. Yes, you're correct. 7 years before you could be declared dead. That's right. Why are you staying on my thing streaming songs? What do you mean? Mary Jane says it can be 5 years, but it ranges between 3 to 7 years, depending on location and circumstances. She Googled, thank you very much. Most of us have intuition. Our subconscious records everything when show us glimpses of intubation. I don't want none of it. I don't want none of it. Dad's gone live, JLR, and Mark is covering this daily. Brian is there as well. Good to see you, Native X. Yep, we are big fans of JLR and Brian as well. In fact, we just covered some of that. So welcome aboard. Come on in. Tell us what you think about it. It's working now. Okay. Is it that access with blonde hair? Actress with blonde hair. The Janice Pennington girl, she was on The Price is Right. She was the older one. There was Holly, Janice, and the other one who claimed Bob Barker did some evil stuff to her. So Native says it takes 7 years according to Arizona laws. Sally says if it's someone in the family, they will anonymously say where the body is so they can get insurance money. They won't want to wait for 7 years. Smart. He retired at 26 years. Okay. He's retired. Okay. Wonder what he's doing now for a living then. Okay, let me jump through a little bit faster. Karen says she has no pain. She does feel that. Not to be rude, but I don't think the kidnappers would take her to the doctor. They would take her away to chances of getting caught. Joy says, I've got a gut feeling she is 1 to 5 miles from the house. Supposedly that's what the police said, right? The police said that she's not far from home. What the fuck do you know? You don't even know if an FBI agent went over to that lady's house over there. I mean, come on. Oh, my goodness gracious. The cutest little Cyclops. Nano's botched this from the very beginning, knowing that there's suspicious activity in her neighborhood lately. There has to be more than one perpetrator. This was a sophisticated attack. Okay. I wonder if Nano's is part of it. Some people have said that. I think Nanos is insane. He wants to go down with this. He wants to go down as solving this case. In my opinion, that's why he didn't bring the FBI in. Him and the FBI hate each other, and he wants this retirement. He wants to be the one to say that he solved this case. Yes, Diane, that is Jonathan Lee Riches. Yes, we're built to be intuitive, connected all. No, I don't want to be. I don't want to be intuitive. My own thoughts, y'all, are crazy. Listen, my own thoughts drive me insane. I can't imagine having thoughts for other people. Oh no. Ignorance is bliss when it comes to me. Janice says, I want to believe the FBI has someone in custody turning state's evidence. Wouldn't that be just precious? Okay, I don't know. There was someone I do believe she was from the movie Grease. Her boyfriend or fiance went missing and they thought he died but was on an island avoiding her. I don't think I've heard of that. Oh, Olivia Newton-John. Yes, Olivia Newton-John. It was hers the same way, but I don't know if she ever, it was her boyfriend, fiance. Yes. Now hers, I don't think she declared him dead. That's over in Australia, so I don't know what happened over there. But Janice Pennington, she had hers declared dead, and he's alive. Nanos is just shocked, or he knows something and is still hiding from the public. A tip, they know something. Don says on site they were talking about elder abuse. Yeah. Brian Enton covered that. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I think it comes from the card that was placed on the door. There is Jonathan Lee Riches, JLR's link. Y'all, we love us some JLR around here. Y'all feel free to tell us the next winning lotto numbers. Faux show. He's not competent enough to do any police work. Agreed, Vicky. I've been seeing since day one that I think you're saying, is it Nanos? Remember, I told everybody, other YouTubers, even my mom, but I forgot to tell you that I seen an article on Newsbreak. Nano is being sued. Well, I mean, nothing surprises me with that man either. I mean, the FBI had a investigation run on him. The house behind is under construction. I be checking freshly poured cement. Oh, good one. Yes. I don't think he was ever found. Olivia Newton-John's boyfriend, Tasha, he was. Yeah, he was found. I got to take some medicine, you guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me wheezing, but I need to take some medicines because I'm getting all worked up here. I think this whole case has been messed up from the beginning. If it was done right, I think Nancy would have been home one way or the other. Keeping stuff away from us probably isn't a good idea. Leah says, and I will see what it says about him being sued for $1 million. I will let you know. I would email it to you, but you're terrible. Girlfriend, you ain't lying. Maggie and I are both supposed to be doing emails. There's over 600 in it right now. You know how when you see like 50 million things you got to do and you're overwhelmed? That's what it feels like looking at that number in the emails. The best thing to do, Leah, is to do exactly what you're doing. Just find a live or a comment or something and comment on that, because I always get notification. I always check them. He was found alive in Hawaii, Jean says. Okay. All right. Yeah, I suck at emails so bad. So bad. All right. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to pull up this one now. Thank you guys so much for being here. I absolutely love the chat. I love you guys being here. Listen, if you got something to say, get down here and say it. You are not going to be judged whatsoever for what you believe happened in this case. Um, we all may have different opinions, but we can all be adults enough to understand that people have the right to their own opinion. You're not going to be judged about that at all. Get down here, jump into chat, and tell us what you think. It's more than one lawsuit that's going to be handed to NANOS or the entire sheriff's office because of the botched investigation. I hope the family sues the fuck out of I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. All right, I want to bring this up because I really do need to stop and take some medicine or I'm going to get in trouble with my lungs. We got to check in with my Nancy Grace, y'all. Listen, if you don't want to watch the Nancy Grace, I totally understand. I know a lot of people don't like her. I used to not be able to stand Nancy Grace, y'all. I'm not kidding you. And then I got older and I went through menopause and I'm like, I understand that bitch completely now. She's pissed off just like I'm pissed off. She's got an attitude just like I got an attitude. She's just completely got no fucks left to give. And I'm hanging on to a half of one for the right person. So me and Nancy, we're tight, okay? And one day, me and Maggie's going to meet her at Crime Con, and I'm going to take her job. So I understand if you don't like Nancy Grace, if you don't want to listen to this, or you have listened to it already, thank you so much for being here and spending time with us. We would love for you to stay, jump in chat, ignore Nancy for a minute, but y'all, she's a tough cookie. She will kick your ass. You guys understand? Nancy will kick your ass straight up. And I'm going to be standing behind her going, yeah, yo, bitch. I love me some Nancy. No, listen, we got Nancy Grace Edwards. She's our true hero here. Listen.
You know what? Cut his mic.
She's my hero.
A deal with the devil. A deal.
Right. A deal with the devil. All right. Let's get into this. I'm going to go take some medicine. Love me some Nancy. Y'all love her. Watch your ears, guys. Watch your ears. Here we go.
Day 37. This, as we learn, investigators inside the
You guys, I love the way she talks too, and the way that she looks like she's wearing glasses, like over her glasses, like down her nose at you, like day 37. Y'all be afraid. This bitch will kick your ass. Seriously.
Investigations state they are getting close to a breakthrough. What breakthrough? What are they getting close to? Does it have anything to do with a utility box bust open near Nancy Guthrie's home around the time of her disappearance? Not only that, what is TAG? T-A-G, Tattoo and Graffiti Team, straight out of Quantico. What will they have to do to help break this case? And all our discussion of data dumps from cell phones, forget it. The Fed's now honing in on Google and Apple to save the day yet again. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
Hands up, Gabriella. Gabriella, hands up, Gabriella. La, la, la.
Tonight, a vandalized, cracked wide open utility box is taking center stage. Straight out to Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Dave, why?
Because this utility box that shows really it shows a lot of vandalism. But Nancy, this utility box right there, you got to realize this brings in phone, fiber optic cable, which, by the way, that's how many of us use the internet. This box is being tied to possibly an internet outage that was happening in the neighborhood at the time we believe Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped. This utility box is just around the corner from her home, next to the neighbor that the neighbor's home that sees into Nancy Guthrie's backyard. Nancy, we've got a lot going on with this box, and the possibility that internet connectivity was blacked out for a brief period of time the night Nancy Guthrie disappeared.
The video we're showing you right now is from our friends at WCNC, this utility box near Nancy Guthrie's home. Okay, straight out to our guest, an all-star panel, James Bass joining us. James is a digital forensic analyst, expert witness with Evidence Solutions, Inc., there in Tucson. James Bass, thank you for being with us. What do you make of it? Let's take a look at this video again. A utility box pried open and vandalized. At the time Nancy Guthrie goes missing, what would this have to do with the blackout experienced by, we know, 2 neighbors of Nancy Guthrie's? By the way, this video from our friends at WCNC. What about it, James?
We're not exactly sure that these two could be connected. Looking at the utility box, the way it's set up and the wires that are in it, they appear that they are likely just your regular telephone wires, your telephone infrastructure. That would not affect your Wi-Fi. I would assume this
Put him
most
up, please.
folks now interact.
I want to see the utility box. James, granted, I'm just a trial lawyer. You're the digital expert. How can you look at this tangle of wires and tell me, oh, it's nothing but phone wires? And then, to me, I don't understand how you know that by looking at that it's just phone wires. I mean, doesn't a lot of fiber optics include phone, your cable, your Wi-Fi connection? And again, thanks to WCNC for this, but what do you mean they're just phone wires? I didn't think there even were just phone wires anymore.
All right, y'all, I have to stop every now and then so I don't get my YouTube taken away from me. But who the hell does this guy think he is? We ain't dummies. Nancy ain't no dummy. Don't make her come and kick your ass. Listen up. This is more than just junk wires. We know all of our shit is in here. This is the brain. It's the brain. Don't try to play us. Don't try to play us. We know it, fiber optic. Yeah. Y'all remember when they came in? Y'all remember when they came to your town and they was bringing in that fiber optic? Yeah. Hello, Matthew. Good to see you. Y'all, it was probably bringing in more than fiber. It's the brain, y'all. It's the brain.
Well, the wires are still there and the infrastructure is still there. It still supports a lot of what we do today. Your fiber optic is just is a fiber optic cable. Your phones would have 3 or 4 pairs that are connected in that junction box. It looks like spaghetti. If you were to have something that interrupted the service, if it were severed at the box, then it would require a work order to be fixed. It would have been an outage that was permanent. It would not have been intermittent. If that were the intent, then you would have to come back and fix it. It would not come back on its own.
Okay, now that is making sense. If the box were vandalized and Wi-Fi cut off, then it would stay off. They couldn't repair the Wi-Fi. Okay, but what about this? Let's see the porch guy, please. Control room. What if the perp, go with me on this, not just his face, his whole self, please. What if the perp thought he had disabled it by attacking that utility box? Then he comes up and sees the light on the porch cam blinking or sees some type of activity, a motion sensor movement or something. He's go, oh, H-E-double-L. And then goes to get the foliage to cover it up. He's like, okay, well, that didn't work. Would that make sense, Bass?
Possibly, but if you were going to the extent to attack a utility infrastructure, you would probably know that that was not going to affect how the internet service is delivered.
Well, you know that because you're a digital forensic expert, but not every regular person would know that. They would see that utility box near Nancy Guthrie's home and go, hey, I'll attack that. I'll take out the Wi-Fi. Entirely possible.
That would be possible. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's see the video of the porch guy walking up. I want to hone in on what we think is a walkie-talkie or a signal jammer. Okay, take a look at what's in his pocket. Is it just a walkie-talkie and he attempted to take out the utility box? Is the utility box attack the reason investigators are now stating, at least one of them, that they are close to a breakthrough? Joe Scott Morgan joining us, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon. He is the star of a hit podcast series, Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. And for my purposes, he is a death investigator and forensics expert with over 3,000 death scenes under his belt. Joe Scott, if the attack on the utility box was not to knock out Wi-Fi or phone service, what would be a motive to attack a utility box?
Well, certainly, I think that it does have value. We see theft of wiring that takes place all over the country. This has been a problem for years and years, and it's because of specifically.
You mean copper wires?
Yeah, specifically looking for copper wire because copper has a specific value, and it's just laying there. It's like found money, free money laying on the ground to a lot of people. But looking at those wires in particular, and again, being able to assess that, or what we're talking about here, simply based on this one image, it just looks like a collection. And James had mentioned a second ago that it looks like spaghetti, multicolored spaghetti, and it does. It doesn't look like any wires have been stripped in there. I think, the forensic scientist in me looks at this box, and I think,
well, the YouTuber in me has to stop this so I don't get my channel taken away. But let's face it, guys. Let's just be real. Okay, this is a stretch because homeboy went over and picked up some flowers, pulled them out of the ground to cover a camera. And we're supposed to believe that doofus right there could go to one of those boxes and clip the correct wires. Yeah, I don't think so. Hey, JJ, good to see you.
well, I want to know if this person is carrying any tools with them, that they went out there and popped this thing open. Because we look for things like pry marks, for instance, if you're trying to get access to an internal area where you can, go in and harvest anything in there that might be of value. And also age of this intrusion into this thing. Nancy, when we find pry marks on a surface, we'll actually look for things like oxidation, that is the setting in of rust on a surface that has been pried. That gives us an idea of age, right? Of how long downrange has this event taken place? Is it something that was in the immediate, or is it something in the distant past? And then you have to go talk to people that actually manage this thing. If they're running service calls out there, when was the last time anybody serviced this box that actually physically bore witness to this thing? Like, when was the last time a worker came out there and assessed it, took a look at it, do whatever it is they do diagnostically, and then said and made some kind of little diagnosis of this thing, like, this thing's not functional anymore. So all of that.
Well, I don't think they would have left it that way, Joe Scott. Guys, this is from our friends at WCNC. I mean, if they came out and serviced it and found it like this, certainly they wouldn't have left it. What is the possibility? Remote, I know, of getting any prints off this thing.
Okay, I'm not going to say it's impossible. However, if the person was ungloved as they were trying to pry this thing open, anybody at home, just think about, you're trying to leverage something and you're trying to pop it open with like a large screwdriver, which is actually used as a burglary tool many times, or maybe a pry bar. you put your hand in a certain spot, say on the top of this box, and you try to pop this thing open, where you're going to leave behind a print up there. I guess it's a possibility, but it'd be really, really difficult to recover that because of
What
the
about
environmental
inside?
exposure. Very difficult. Unless you have a smooth, flat surface in there, you try to raise a print off of all of those little wires in there, you're going to be chasing your tail for a long time because you're not going to be able to find anything that's going to be viable in there. At least I can't imagine that you could.
Here's what actually happens when you take a methylation genes test. You do a quick cheek swab, super easy, and send it.
Okay, what about this?
Before she jumps on that, as y'all could see, Matthew, silly as fuck. He used to be by all accounts, he used to run these lines or something. He was this techie guy. I don't know. I just think I'm going to stick with my theory that this was a planned event by someone close in the family, meaning the son-in-law, and the people who came and was working on the electric or whatever they were working on at her house a few days prior to her going quote unquote missing, actually disabled stuff. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm going to stay there until we get to court and they prove me different. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. This is why Miss June doesn't like Ring, because I was having a lot of issues with them jamming the signal and it being hacked into all the time. I only have one camera that was never hacked into, and it was a baby monitor. Nobody wants to hack those baby monitors. Dawn says, the perp was very careless with how he handled everything. The truth will come out eventually. He was a wolf, sheep's clothing. Hi, randomly amazed. Improbable does not equal impossible. That's true. That's very true. Why should we look that hard if it's not likely we're going to find anything? Why try? What the fuck? That's what's been going on with all the gloves and different things that people are calling in there. Look, I've been saying it. I know the police are getting shitty about the gloves, as many gloves that were called in. And they're, that's a red glove. The perp was wearing a red glove. Well, if there were two perps, what happens if the other perp was wearing a red glove? I don't know. All I know is if you're going to investigate a crime like this, whether you hate it or not, you have got to investigate everything. If that means 15,000 different gloves, then you've got to bring in the 15,000 different gloves, just the way it's got to go. What happens if it's that one glove? What happens if it's that one tire mark? What happens if it's that one car that drove down the street out of the hundreds of 10,000s, like Sheriff I don't know is trying to have us believe at that time of night that they're looking at? It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Damage says most of them run off Wi-Fi. June says pretty much they tried it and didn't work, but still she not found. So their plan is working up to a point. But listen, I'm of the opinion that this whoever this person is that actually did the crime, not the person who's planned the crime, that did the crime, is a fucking idiot. And I say that because just what we see on camera in itself, because I think if it was investigated different, I think who's to say we wouldn't already have Nancy back, alive or dead. The investigation was fucked from the beginning. So I don't think the perp was that smart. I just think the sheriff is that dumb. Does that make sense? All right.
Aren't you glad you're not an investigator on one of my cases again? Okay.
Yeah, there you
We
go.
lived through one and it resulted in a huge fight. That was many, many years ago. What about this? evidence of an attempt to sever any of them or yank them out?
Yeah. So one of the things that you're thinking about going back to tool marks, you think about any kind of cutting tools that would have been used in there. Say, for instance, if you're using a pair of snips, and in forensics, we can kind of trace that back. The trick is, though, we can look at something and say, yeah, this has been snipped away. This has been cut in a certain way. But that's not the old adage, that ain't worth the gunpowder bullet hell if I don't have something to compare it to. So what you're looking for is somebody that has burglary tools. And again, this goes to somebody perhaps in this area that police would know of that carry around burglary tools that have been engaged in this kind of behavior before, and see if they have the tools. You know, crooks, they're like anybody else. They're like a carpenter that has a favorite hammer. You know, they use burglary tools to carry a kit around with them. They like to keep that kit. And it's one of the most damning bits of evidence that you can find on anybody out there. They get a comfort level with this thing, and you can tie back these impressions to them because they use the same tools over and over.
So, month, American
Fitzgibbons joining us. He is the Director of Operations at USPA Nationwide Security. Fitzgibbons leads a team of investigators that go around the world finding and extracting missing people. He is a former Marine and he is an Iraqi war vet. There could be the issue of motive. Is this connected to Guthrie or not? Has this happened in similar neighborhoods? If so, is it just a thug? Is it just like a graffiti artist or somebody that goes around knocking down mailboxes or throwing stones or shooting out street lamps? No real motive except for the pure joy of it.
Yeah, I think Occam's razor tells us that number one, the motive could be to try to find copper wire, or number two, it fits that second category that you just described, that this is just straight up vandalism. I don't believe that this has any connection to Mrs. Guthrie's disappearance, for the simple fact that this would not, there's no fiber optic in there. This would have nothing to do with disconnecting a security system.
Fitzgibbons, you know, I think is the strongest argument that this is not connected to Guthrie. What Bass said at the get-go, James Bass, he said that if that caused the outage, it would have remained outed. You'd have to have somebody come and fix it. The perp can't destroy it. And what, he just happens to be a fiber optic repair person? No. So that, I believe, is going to be a dead end unless the perp tried to out it with that and it didn't work and then went to jammers. Now, I'm going to circle back to jammers, but I want to really hit something with Bass. We've heard so much about data dumps, and I remember starting it on day one, a data dump of all the cell phones in and out of the area. That was before Nanos allowed the FBI in. They lost a lot of valuable time, by the way, while Nanos was twiddling his thumbs. The data dump would have showed all cell phone connectivity in the area. It would have shown, for instance, AU Connect, which is a device already pre-wired in vehicles, newer vehicles that connect you to the car Wi-Fi, iPads that are trying to connect or touch Wi-Fi sources as they go by. It could be a smartwatch. It could be any number of devices that connect via Wi-Fi. But you're saying Google and or Apple could save the day. Now, as you're talking, James Bass, remember, I'm just a trial lawyer. Dummy down for me. Google's already saved the day once by resurrecting from the dead that porch cam. So what can they do for us, Google or Apple?
Most folks don't realize just how much data they create every day, just through a normal course of business, every day of their lives. they're creating data points that they couldn't even comprehend. So once you're able to filter down from the cell phone tower dumps, if you can find a specific suspect address or device, cell phone, you're then going to be able to go back to people like Google or Apple. Google collects more data than Apple does. But for instance, your location points, every minute,
You completely skeeved everyone out when you were talking about how Google, you said in the background, is following you. Well,
yeah.
I'm like, my thought on that is fine. Follow me to Kroger, follow me to Walmart. I'd just be mad if you didn't, but that's me. So you stated that Google, and I guess Apple too, but you mentioned Google, is following you in the background. In other words, you don't really know this is happening. And they can say, oh, she parked her car at Walmart. All right. It's like every 30 seconds, they're updating your location. How's that going to help me?
Well, what it will enable you to do is once you identify this device, you send a search warrant to Google and ask for this information. And anyone can download their information and look at what is being collected. It's free. They'll email it to you and you can review it. But with the location stamps, you'll be able to put an individual or the cell phone generally within a 3 to 10 meter radius, anywhere from 10 to 30 feet to a particular latitude and longitude at a millisecond timestamp. So once you get the device and you get this information, now you see when they're taking their steps, where they've parked their car, where they've gone shopping, how they drive to work and how they drive home. It unlocks an entire history because that data is saved for the life of the account. Unless you log in as the
what's
driver.
really interesting, Bass, in addition to what you were saying right now, guys, this video, and we're looking at her property from an aerial view from 12 News. What you were telling me about what happened to you when you were on the Joint Task Force, the Anti-Terrorism Task Force.
Scholastico's Art Therapy Practitioner Certification course is designed to turn your passion into a profession. From history and principles of art therapy to neuroscience and therapeutic.
What happened?
I was working at a place that was very nondescript. We were doing some counterterrorism work. It was in a top secret facility, a secure facility, a SCIF, where you handle and deal with classified and sensitive information. I was able to go back years later and track down every day the route I took to work, where I parked my car. I could tell you where I left my phone every day. And that was all information captured from Google without my input. That wasn't me asking for a route. That was just it collecting data in the background. I was downrange in Iraq in an unrelated mission. And I was able to still go back years later and tell you where I sat on a bench on a base, that I just happened to have my phone in my pocket. And that's the kind of data that it's going to record day and night, in addition to all of your search terms, every advertisement you've interrupted or interacted with, all of your videos, everything about you is saved. And once you get that information, it goes a really long way to painting a picture about an activity and a person.
What if the phone was in airplane mode?
Well, unfortunately, in airplane mode, that really disables most useful data. That's going to disable all of your antennas. It's going to really turn your phone into just a music player. There's not going to be a GPS. There's not going to be any cell phone connections. So that does cut down on the information that's going to be recovered.
Okay. So airplane mode, that's not helping me. What about car Wi-Fi?
Well, car Wi-Fi is generally through, unless you have a nicer car in the subscription service, is generally through your phone. So once that phone goes into your car and you connect, you're using your phone's data to manipulate applications through your dashboard. Some cars do have their own cell phone assigned number.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The cars that are already wired, guys, this is from our friends at Fox News. I'm thinking about the cars that are already wired with connectivity, not reliant on your phone.
Mhm. If here's another thing that most people don't know. Newer cars especially have an infotainment and telematics system that is also collecting data. So if they can identify the person or identify the vehicle, depending on what vehicle it is, the year, make, and model, you would be able to go
Right.
back and extract data from the car to get routes, phone calls, text messages, even the music played. And in some cases, you get latitude and longitude every time the key ignition is turned on, every time you hit the brakes, every time you stop. All of this data is being recorded and can be recovered from most
Hey,
vehicles.
James, isn't it true that you can hit SiriusXM with a subpoena and they must comply with all of the geolocation that they can on a particular vehicle? Isn't that true? They fight tooth and nail not to hand it over, but the feds have challenged it before and they've gotten it. And it's an incredible source. I'm just trying to figure out how that can be tracked if someone enters the area and they've got SiriusXM or something similar. Can that be recognized and identified? Can it?
It can. Once you get the device, if you find that out, even when you get the information from Google, and I say Google, for instance, you get a list of installed applications. Now, from that applications list, you start working backwards to see who in the applications list will save information that could be of value. And then you would start working that backwards.
That would lead us
to that information. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Google and Apple taking center stage yet again. Straight out to Brian Fitzgibbons joining us, USPA Nationwide Security. Brian, I want to talk about tag, tattoo, and graffiti analysts. There is a special team of them in Quantico. And they, AZ, Arizona, also has a tattoo database. But that said, Tag at Quantico has access to them all around the country. Let's take a look at the tattoo the porch guy had. Tell me about Tag, tattoo, and graffiti analysts.
Yeah, so this is a highly specialized team in Quantico that specializes in gathering and analyzing intelligence on tattoos, graffiti, any symbols, hand signals, mostly related to organized crime, extremist groups. And they'll support law enforcement by gathering these images, accessing a vast database of similar images to generate leads and intelligence related to crimes.
Hi guys, my name is Chelsea, and today I'm going to be trying the Instant Firm X No Filter Primer. What's so special about this?
Well, you're right.
All right, we got to keep the channel, so I got to stop it right there. Y'all, I don't know how accurate this picture is of this tattoo. Whoever brought that up, if it is accurate, that's pretty incredible. But do you guys remember last week we looked at the Luke Daly interview, and everybody was like, why is he wearing so many clothes? It's freaking hot in Arizona. And after that live, I went back and I was watching it again because I'm always rewatching even stuff that we watched before, just because I feel like I don't hear stuff or if I've missed anything. And I remember the whole chat was saying, why is he dressed like that? It's so freaking hot there. Y'all, does he have one of those tattoos? Is that why he was wearing a long sleeve shirt and a vest over it? I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Wow, he should have pulled up those things farther up his arms. But I mean, surely the police would have looked at if he had a tattoo on his arm. I think that's probably the only thing that makes me think maybe he wasn't involved in this. They found the tattoo weeks ago, right? Look how heavily dressed Luke was in his interview, right? That's what I was just saying. So surely the police have already like looked at his wrist or something, or maybe they haven't had probable cause to, and maybe he's just walking around with long sleeves on. Who knows? Who knows? And exactly how big is the damn cloud? For the love of God.
This is what they do all day, every day. And they tap into databases all around the country. Once you identify the tattoo, then you go and find the tattoo parlor, right? I would be starting in the Catalina Hills area, foothills, and then moving out. This is one of the analysis done at TAG, Tattoo and Graffiti Specialist within Quantico. That is a traditional Chinese character for the wind. You also see numeric codes in tattoos and what those numeric codes mean. For instance, 1000119 is an F as in Frank. See what I mean? These actually spell names and messages cracked by TAG. Let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at the Scorpion one. This is from U.S. Customs and Border Protection that was used by TAG. You've got a scorpion, a very identifiable scorpion. Then you've got General Francisco Villa, aka Pancho Villa, which, believe it or not, it's a very common tattoo and gang related. Okay, this is graffiti that was also used in tattoos. That was used by the National Joint Terrorism Task Force, and TAG was all over it. And then take a look at this. At the top left, that is a ritual offering of Santeria, that's voodoo, left in a Pittsburgh public park. Now, keep looking over to the right, the top right, that's MS-13 affiliation. Bottom left, graffiti of the Treetop Peru Bloods gang. Bottom right, that's an occult tattoo. They have analyzed and studied these for years. Now it's a matter, wouldn't you think, Fitzgibbons, this is your expertise tonight, of enlarging the sliver of tattoo we see on the porch guy's wrist, inner wrist, figuring out what it's a part of a bigger tattoo, what the tattoo is, and tracking down the tattoo parlors or tattoo artists that create that particular tattoo, right?
You know, you've identified that the major limitation that we have here is obviously that we only see a small portion of this tattoo. Now, what I will say is that these analysts will have access to tools, some driven by AI, that can help expand that and predict what the rest of that tattoo may look like. And the FBI is moving to a next generation identification system that has image-based tattoo search. Where the current NCIC system is only text-based, they will have access to millions upon millions of tattoo photos associated with a male between 5'9" and 5'10" on his right arm that may indeed help narrow this list down.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace here. Please join us on bombshell updates, answers to unanswered questions from cases making the headlines and cases you may never have heard of until Crime Stories. We go inside investigations with exclusive interviews, crime victims, families seeking justice, investigators, experts, and sources from within the case itself. Stay on top of the nation's biggest trials with us, including gavel-to-gavel coverage with real-time analysis.
Hey, Arian.
Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. Stream it first on Fox 1. I hope to see
I'm
you
feeling
there.
better,
and
Pete. Thank you so
friend.
much.
To Joseph Scott Morgan joining us, Professor of Forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, and star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan, podcast, and Death Investigator. Joe Scott,
Much has been made online about Mrs. Guthrie allegedly having a heart attack. Where's that coming from? And how do you connect that to the blood we see, her blood outside of her door?
Well, first off, there's no empirical proof that she had a heart attack. I think what they're saying is that the potential exists for her to have a heart attack. And let me just run through why I think that they're saying this. But first off, she's got an indwelling pacemaker, which, takes care of the rhythm of the heart. She has a weakened heart. She's also on blood thinners. They're trying to prevent clots. She's also got hypertension. So she's got high blood pressure. And not to mention, she's debilitated. So my suspicion there is that there's a high probability that because she is only semi-ambulatory, which means that she can walk, but she has to do it assisted, she's probably got some peripheral circulation problems as well. So that's where this is coming from. I think that there's a sleep apnea individual that has, kind of spoken up about this, talked about the potential for this, and certainly it does exist. But there's no way that, I don't know how else to say it, in absentia, you can actually make a diagnosis. It's a possibility. Now, when it comes to this blood deposition,
Before you move on to the blood,
yeah,
can
sure.
I ask you about the spike that was registered around 2 a.m. with her pacemaker?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What does that suggest?
Well, at that particular time, there very well may have been some activity that was troubling to her, all right, that essentially got her rhythm out of balance, and it was recorded, but that is not indicative that she definitively had a heart attack. Again, it's something that only someone could make that diagnosis if they were physically with her at that particular time, or maybe if she had had an MI, which is the vernacular is heart attack, but there's no such thing as an actual heart attack. It's a myocardial infarction. And in layman's terms, what that means is that part of the heart muscle dies because the heart has blockages in it that supply the myocardium, which is the heart muscle. Okay, so you get that area, you get a rhythm problem, and you can, in fact, have a so-called heart attack.
But Joe Scott, doesn't a pacemaker keep your heart rate at a consistent level, like 70 beats a minute? Why would there be a spike? I thought it was engineered to keep your heart at that heartbeat.
Yeah, it does. But Nancy, these things are not permanent, and they're not there. There are people that die every day that have pacemakers indwelling because, as you get older, your condition begins to wither on the vine, if you will. Your physical condition begins to degrade. And any kind of stimulation that she may have had could, in fact, lead to a fatal cardiac event. But again, you can't make that diagnosis just because you've got this one spike showing up relative to the pacemaker.
Hey, Joe Scott, I want you to hear James Bass joining us from Evidence Solutions there in Tucson. Theory about the blood that you see on the porch being aspirated. What was your thought on that, James?
What I had noted on the porch there was that the drops were relatively low velocity, straight down drops, except for a pattern there off to the side of the doormat, which appeared to be some sort of aspiration, be it a cough or sneeze, but having such concentrated pattern would lead me to believe that the face or the origin was somewhat close to the surface. Somehow it may be while she was being taken out of the house, there was a pause there for some seconds, and that's what generated that particular part of the pattern.
What about it, Joe Scott?
Oh, I concur. These are not from a great height, and it's highly concentrated, Nancy. I think that my theory here is that this is blood that originates from the nasopharynx area, okay? The reason I say that is if you look at it, a few of those drops in there, they appear to be aerated. You can see kind of the center of the larger drops have kind of a bubble in the center of them. And then you've got those tiny little satellite drops that are heavily concentrated in one area. That's referred to as expiration, where the individual is kind of coughing out like this. We actually saw this in a similar case that you and I covered, Nancy, and that's the Travis Alexander case, where he goes to his sink, the lavatory in his bathroom, and you can actually see this productive area there in that case. However, that blood was everywhere. This is one concentrated area. And there's one more thing I want to point out here that's very troubling to me from an evidentiary standpoint. That doormat, Nancy, that troubles me to no end. I cannot understand in what world someone would not collect that.
Oh, he's going to get me started on the damn doormat. Can somebody reach out to Joe Scott Morgan and let him know don't mention the doormat in front of me? It's my number one problem with the whole case. I'm nuts about the doormat. Oh, y'all, the doormat just drives me batty. Complete batty.
Doormat, because if you take a look at it, you can see it's very dark in color. Guess what you can't appreciate in those circumstances, with that doormat in that lighting, you can't appreciate if there's any blood deposition on there. That thing would need to have been carefully collected, taken back to the lab, and probably had alternative lighting applied to it, photographically, any kind of testing that you could appreciate any kind of blood deposition on there. And again, it's one of those big elephants in the room with this case. We see this image that we get a peek behind the curtain of, that at that moment in time, that blood is concentrated there, but adjacent to it is that doormat, and it wasn't collected at the time or prior to that. I guess it's been collected now. Who knows in this particular case, but that's very troubling to me as an investigator.
Along with multiple theories flooding the internet and being called into the 911 station, not only the heart attack theory, but the Chilean gang theory, but also the theory still that somehow Annie Guthrie, Savannah's sister, and Savannah's brother-in-law are involved in Nancy Guthrie's kidnap. Let's see the video of Savannah with her sister and her brother-in-law visiting this bank of flowers, many of them yellow, symbolically yellow. And you see Savannah arm in arm with the brother-in-law, putting her arm around him with the sister. Believe it or not, Dave Mack, joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter, now there is a move afoot stating that that's from our friends at Fox News. Hold on, let me get this straight because it's very attenuated. I had argued recently that I did not believe that Savannah would drape her arm around someone she suspected of kidnapping her mother. I mean, I wouldn't. And from what I know of Savannah, when we worked together way back when at Court TV, she wouldn't either. Now the theory is that Savannah really knows her brother-in-law is responsible and that the FBI told her to pretend she didn't know. How crazy can it get, Dave Mack? That is way off base. That's just not true. Savannah's pretending that she doesn't know who took her mother?
Absolutely crazy. But, Nancy, there are people that just have time on their hands to do nothing but invent things and they're seeing things that don't exist. We've actually had a number of people suggest that it's Annie Guthrie on the front porch saying that the eyes match up with Annie Guthrie, and the porch person saying that that's not a guy, that's Annie Guthrie in disguise. These types of things are always said online.
That poor woman dealing with the kidnap of her mother, and now this. But, there's another theory haunting the investigators because people are calling it in by the droves to the 911 call, and that's the theory somehow that a Chilean robbing crew
What about it, Brian Fitzgibbons, Director, Operations, USPA Nationwide Security, and I'm emphasizing security, pointing to the burglaries of football star Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. There's Bobby Portis, Joe Burrow, all of them star athletes. Their mansions were burgled while they were away, I think, playing games, reportedly by Chilean nationals. What does that have to do with Nancy Guthrie?
And I think we can say it has nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie for the simple fact that these organized burglary crews go to great lengths to conduct quite a bit of surveillance to ensure that they're not going to encounter anyone in the home while they're conducting the burglary. As you just mentioned with these athletes, their schedules are widely available online. So, hypothetically, they'd know exactly when they're traveling. If the same thing were done here, and it's done all across the country, these crews do have quite an extensive surveillance operation, monitoring the house, even using disguises at times to check if anyone's in the home, disguising as delivery man and the like.
This is a camera lucida, and throughout the 19th century, it was an indispensable drawing aid for artists and technical.
I don't recall any of the Chilean nationals trying to put leaves and flowers over the door cam or taking a person from the home, much less a LOL, a little old lady that can't walk past 50 yards. They go in, they take expensive stuff, and they hightail it. And they use jammers. That's true. They do use jammers. But that's a very, very tenuous connection, if any connection at all.
I'll add something onto what you just said. These Chilean national burglary gangs, we actually have video of them encountering surveillance cameras, and they have very good standard operating procedure to deal with them. They're using tape or spray paint almost immediately. So, this indicates that this is not an organized effort, an organized burglary gang doing this.
Well, also in those cases, universally, items were stolen. In this case, Dave Mack, do we know of anything taken out of Nancy Guthrie's home? And someone online pointed out to me that she typically wore beautiful jewelry and was wondering if pawn shops had been contacted regarding the pawn or the attempted pawn of her jewelry. I think their eyes were on a bigger price, such as $6 million of ransom. But if you look at the videos, and specifically that Today Show video when Savannah made a trip home and they were eating at a Mexican restaurant, she's wearing a beautiful pendant. I see her, I guess it's a smartwatch on her left hand, rings, necklace, earrings, bracelet on the right hand that I can identify. I don't know if she's got more necklaces on underneath her shirt, but I haven't heard anything about jewelry taken, which would rule out a robbing crew. Plus, robbing crews, they don't want you. They want your stuff.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything about an item missing?
Not a thing. Not one report of anything missing. The only thing we've seen, Nancy, is last week when there was activity where the SUV was pulled into the garage, door was shut, and they got out. At that same, two investigators that were out in the front yard with a metal detector and a garden spade looking at areas along the driveway. That's the closest we've come to them even looking for metal. So no, there's no report of anything missing inside that house except for Nancy Guthrie.
If you know or you think you know anything about the disappearance of Mrs. Guthrie, please dial toll-free 800-225-5324. Repeat, 800-225-5324. Or if you wish to remain anonymous, 520-882-7463. 520-882-7463. There is a $1.2+ million reward. $1.2+
million reward for information leading to the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie. It does not require an arrest. It does not require a conviction. And the Guthries have agreed to meet with the recipients at a neutral location, such as a U.S. post office. Sounds like the feds came up with that idea. That said, $1.2+ million on the table. Thank you to all of our guests joining us tonight, but especially to you.
All right, guys, there you go. What do you guys think? What do you think? It's good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, whenever I'm playing other people's content or anything like that, we have to use a disclaimer. And I'm pretty good about stopping it and, you know, just talking smack until, so we, and commentating on it. So I've been really lucky that I've never gotten any kind of copyright. So that's why we put up the disclaimer, float it in chat, float it on the screen, and then I read it out. User says, have we seen the ransom notes? Where are those taking us? Where are those taking us? No, we've been read parts of them, but we don't know. We've never seen them. And, that's that. I personally don't think the ransom notes have anything to do with this at all. I think it was a red herring. I think it was to either give them more time to do whatever they needed to do, or most of the ransom. I mean, come on. Are you gonna, if you've got someone's mom, are you gonna send your ransom note into TMZ? TMZ is not even a news source. They're paparazzi. So why? I mean, they did better by sending it to the actual news station. So, but as we know, up to now, that there was only 2 that were sent to the news station itself. But so maybe those are legit. I don't know. I don't think so, though. But the other ones, I think, are just people trying to cash out on a tragedy. She is so good. I love her so much. Yep. TMZ did say that they were going to stop reporting. They were going to stop putting it out if they got any more. They were just going to turn them directly over to the FBI. And I'm pretty sure that's probably what the FBI told them to do. But yeah, I think they're shit. I think they're all shit. Oh man, you guys, I'm freezing. Good night, Vicky. So good to see you. Thank you for coming in. I'm not going to stay on much longer. We've been on for 3 hours. It's about as much as I like to do. I like to keep it between 2 and 3 hours. I mean, that's long enough for you to hear my mouth, and I get tired of hearing my mouth too. So I'm going to shut this one down, I think. And I really, back from your school run, Aussie True Crime. Dawn says, I figured the money is up to $1 million. Why someone hasn't come forward, as we all know. I do remember an investigator saying, if nobody came forward with the 1 million, then we know, then that would tell him that the perpetrator worked alone. I don't necessarily believe that, but who am I? Vicky, I'm normally on almost every night, but I've got a very large family. You don't even want to know, girlfriend. You do not want to know what them kids and them grandkids put me through, girl. It's terrible. But I try to get on as much as I can in the nighttime. Sometimes during the day, like tomorrow, I may be doing another Nancy Guthrie live. Depends on. I'll either be doing another one tomorrow night around the same time, or I'll do one during the day, or I'm going to be doing a live haul. I don't know if you guys like hauls, but I love to thrift. Really love it. And so I have collected a bunch of stuff, but since this whole Nancy Guthrie thing happened, I haven't done anything else on my channel but this pretty much. So so I was thinking about doing that tomorrow, doing a live tomorrow on that. But anyways, just make sure your bells are turned on. I usually try to at least give an hour and a half, but truly that's about as much time as I can give, unless Maggie, my co-host, and I set a time to, like when we were covering Koberger, we did a once weekly thing unless some breaking news happened. We went on every Wednesday, and then on Thursdays we had a chat, Koberger chat. So Sherman, I'm not from, I live in Indiana. Where are you from? Where are you from? But I do try to get on. I gotta get better at it. But these kids, y'all, I'm just kidding you. Listen, they like me for some reason, y'all. My children and grandchildren love me. And I got a lot of y'all got 5 kids. 4 of them are married, so that's 9 of them brats. And then I've got 10 grandchildren, and they just keep coming. No, it's like they haven't figured stuff out. And my baby child, y'all, he's 22. He's graduating in May from college, and he's not even married yet. So I got even more grandkids to look forward to. Holy Hannah, y'all, I'm broke. I'm broke as a joke on Diet Coke. I ain't even kidding you. Seriously. All this, all that. That's all right, honey. I'm glad you got you some rest. But yeah, y'all make sure your bells are rung. I try to at least give an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, to let y'all know that I'm going live. But I just appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate y'all talking to me and hanging out with me. Like you can't understand how much that means to me. Even if I don't bring anything up, if I could just sit here and read chat and talk to you guys, like I am so good with that. You guys probably wouldn't be, but I'm really good with just having conversations. I love it so much. Michelle, thanks for everything, Leanie. I have enjoyed the live stream. Get some rest. Have a good night. I'll be on tomorrow. If you are on, I will be on tomorrow night for sure. About the same time. All right, you guys be good or be good at it. Get you some rest, okay? Thank you for coming in. Thank you to the Mad Mods. You guys rock the Casbah. I appreciate you so much. Mama, I know you're out there in Tucson. We love you so much. Be safe. Keep them doors. Don't take no shit, y'all. Don't take no shit. I love you guys too. Southern California, like Sherman Oaks. Gotcha. I grew up in Carson, California. Thank God I got out alive. I'm your therapy? Nobody's ever said that to me before, because y'all are my therapy. Honest to God. No joke. Love you too, Leah. All right, guys. Y'all be good or be good at it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Bye, guys.